Do or die time for the Shockers. Our lead story tonight. Good evening, everyone. I'm Susan Peters. Roger Cornish has the evening off. Thank you for joining us. This will be the third meeting between Wichita State and Florida State in this College World Series. But unlike the other meeting, tonight's loser makes the long trip home. Bruce Hurdle has been in Omaha since the beginning of the series. He joins us now live. Bruce.
I'll tell you, Sue, the one impression that I carry with me to this point in time in this College World Series is that officials at Wichita State, those of us in the media, the fans that have been following this team all season long, are actually more excited for this ball game coming up tonight than the Shockers are themselves. And that's a testimony to how under control, mature this group really is. They are very aware of the circumstances, obviously, and what's at stake. But by the same token, they are taking a very relaxed approach to the task at hand. Now, the matchup with Florida State, well, there are no secrets, no surprises. These teams know each other very well. Clyde Keller going against Pat Cedeno, the same pitching matchup that, of course, Florida State won with 4-2 last Sunday. So if there are no secrets, what then are some of the keys? When opportunities knock, it's been the club that's answered the call first that's won. 2 errors and a misplayed fly ball killed the Shocks on Sunday, while a 56-minute rain delay gave Wichita State a chance to regroup and recoil on Wednesday. The rubber match is just an hour away, with the winner getting a trip to tomorrow's national championship matchup opposite Texas.
We were here last year in their situation, and you get to that game and all of a sudden, you are beaten and you realize, hey, this team can beat us, and it takes a little bit of something out of you. Let's just go out and play ball and come right at them, because, we know in our minds that we're as good or a better team than they are, and that we should beat this team on Friday.
Pat Cedeno will get a chance to back up those words in less than an hour as he takes the hill tonight for the Shockers. We're pleased to be joined now, of course, by Wichita State Athletic Director Tom Shoup. And Tom, I know that you're very proud of all your programs at Wichita State, but considering the adversity that this baseball team has faced continually through the postseason, it's just remarkable that they're even to this point in time of the College World Series.
Remarkable hardly seems enough of a word, or if there are enough words for this group of youngsters and the staff that have worked so hard through everything. And if they don't win another game, it's a tremendously successful season. We think they're going to win 2 more, obviously, and pulling for them. But what a gutsy performance even up till now.
Talk a little bit about what this performance means for the university, both perhaps from a mental standpoint and from a dollars and cents standpoint. The College World Series is getting fiscally more attractive.
Yeah, there's some more revenue in it, obviously, particularly as you get to this level and get to this point in the season. It's a little more lucrative for us. But overall, again, the dollars don't nearly amount to the exposure and the publicity that we've gotten. The national coverage by the networks and all the publicity that goes with it, and the attention, that can't be measured in any amount of money.
All right, Wichita State and Florida State will have a further preview coming up in the sports when we are joined by Shocker ace reliever Jim Newland. That's all for now.
Okay, thanks, Bruce. We'll join you again live at 10.
Leading Mark to 18 on the season. And Jimmy, I guess the big question right now is, how does the arm feel and how far could you go tonight if called on?
Well, I think if I'm called on tonight, I can give a good 3 or 4 innings. The day off yesterday helped a lot, and my arm feels good and I'm ready to go. How
would you typify this club's mentality right now? You guys seem awfully loose.
Yeah, I think we are. As a matter of fact, I think we're a lot looser than our opponent tonight. We're in a situation similar to exactly where we were in the regionals, and we all feel good and we feel confident, and I think we're going to do the job.
Talk about pitching against this Florida State ball club. You've had good success against them. What do we look for from Pat in the early innings?
Well, Pat's going to mix it up, I know, just like he did the other night. I hope he gets his ball down. He's been successful all year long, and he doesn't need to do anything different than he has all year long. He just needs to come out right after the hitters and show a good command of all 3 of his pitches and go right after him, like I said.
Jim Newland, drafted by the Seattle Mariners, will begin negotiations with that Major League Ball club, of course, beginning next week. He is the man after 7 innings, and he is the reason that the Shockers probably will be favored tonight into the late innings. Malcolm?
Okay, thanks a lot, Bruce. We'll talk with you at 10. Game time, Mickey says, in about 40 minutes from now, folks. Well, the Kansas City Royals added another arm to their pitching staff today. They picked up Terry Leach from the New York Mets for a player to be named later. Leach has no record this year in 10 games this season. He's compiled a 4.22 ERA in 21 innings of pitch. Now, the Kansas City club...
...and play hurt. That's what got them here, and they know they control their own destiny. They've taken this position with extra effort, especially on defense. And have been led on offense by Eric Wedge, who leads the College World Series in RBIs. The pitching has been consistent throughout. And with Jim Newman leading the series in saves, Coach Stevenson is confident in his team's chances for survival tonight. Mike Martin's Florida State Seminoles were riding high with 2 early victories at Omaha, but on Wednesday night, their championship parade was rained on by Wichita State. Ace pitcher Garth Finvold ran out of gas late, and the hitters failed to provide when they needed it. Tonight, they'll need an encore performance from undefeated Clyde Keller, who shut down Wichita State in their first meeting. Buddy Cribb rocked the Shockers for 2 hits on Wednesday and will be key for the return to the Seminoles offense. It's an all-out effort tonight as a shot at the national championship is at stake. Tonight, ESPN concludes its 10th year of coverage of the College World Series with the national semifinal matchup between the Seminoles of Florida State and the Shockers of Wichita State. Mike Martin of the Noles on the right. There's nothing he wants more than a national championship. And for Gene Stevenson on the left, he has been close before. This might be his best shot. Hello, everyone. I'm Ron Franklin. Welcome into ESPN's final night coverage of the College World Series 1989. It has been a very fast week that we have just spent. Well, the Texas Longhorns are in the championship game. That is a foregone. They await the winner of tonight's national semifinal matchup between the Seminoles and the Shockers. And this one has turned into a best 2 out of 3. It was the Seminoles winning the first meeting 4-2. In the second game, it was Wichita State 7-4, thus bringing up the rubber game of this match. With me tonight, as usual, my broadcast partner, Jim Cott. Jim, welcome. We have this same exact matchup that we had back in Game 6 as far as pitchers are concerned. Keller on the mound against Pat Cedeno.
Yeah, and Clyde Keller pitched a 4-hitter the last time against Wichita State, and I really think he's got to pitch better tonight. You say why? Well, you know, he relies on that palm ball. When you see a team twice in 1 week, and they've got hitters like Eric Wedge, these guys make some adjustments. I think what you're going to find is the Wichita State hitters looking for a lot of off-speed pitches. Keller will have to mix in more fastballs and more changeups to be as effective tonight.
When you ask Gene Stevenson about his starter tonight, you get an immediate smile. Pat Cedeno.
Well, you know, Pat Cedeno did not pitch a bad game in their matchup on Monday night. 6 2/3 innings, 3 earned runs, but I think he was a little over-pumped in that game, not quite as sharp. And I think we're going to see a more relaxed Pat Cedeno tonight, and I think we'll see a better performance.
Jim, I'd like to get you to talk about emotion as far as these two coaches are concerned, and also for the schools. As an example, Wichita State has never even played in a national championship game. And for Florida State, they've never won a national championship in baseball.
Well, you know, Coach Mike Martin of Florida State is a driven man. He's one of 4 coaches to reach 500 wins in his first 10 years. A lot of teams come to Omaha and they say, hey, I'm just happy to be here. Let's enjoy the experience. Mike Martin will not be satisfied unless he goes to Tallahassee with the NCAA baseball trophy. Gene Stevenson, on the other hand, suffered the most numbing loss of his career last year. Quick reflection on it. 1 strike from going to the championship game. Arizona State comes back and beats them. That loss lingered for a long, long time. His team had to come back in less than 2 days. They got blown out by Arizona State, 19-1. This year they come into the game on a little more positive note. Yes, Gene Stevenson has mellowed a little, but believe me, he doesn't say it with the same conviction as Mike Martin, but he wants this championship just as much, especially for his players.
So will it be the Shockers or will it be the Seminoles taking on the Longhorns for the national championship tomorrow? ESPN's presentation of the 1989 NCAA College World Series from Omaha is brought to you by Audi. Conform to the road, not the rules. Audi, the alternate route. by new Wild and Mild ranch-flavored Frito brand corn chips. Rustle up some. And by Metropolitan Life and affiliated companies. Get Met. It pays. Tonight's national semifinal matchup. It is the Seminoles and the Shockers. We'll have it coming up next.
One reason so many people select Mercury.
By Wilson, the official ball of the College World Series. The head coach at Tallahassee is Mike Martin, shooting for his first national championship. Leading off and playing first is Bob Raboyne, batting .362, and that average speaks for itself. The shortstop is Brian Gilliland. He will bat second leading hitter on the team. In the number 3 spot is third baseman Rob Vargas, outstanding third baseman. The cleanup spot is designated hitter Buddy Cribb, hit the first home run of this year's College World Series. In the number 5 position, right fielder Chris Brock, a freshman, line drive hitter. 6th hole is left fielder Brad Parker, 14 home runs this year. The center fielder is Mark Ronan. He'll bat 7th, 42 stolen bases. In the number 8 hole is second baseman Rocky Rao, good glove man. And in the number 9 spot is catcher Pedro Gapol, can hit the very long ball.
On defense for the Shockers, in right field, Todd Dreifert. Over in center field will be Jim Audley. And the left fielder is senior Mike McDonald. On the infield, Mike Jones is at third base. Pat Mears, the shortstop. P.J. Forbes at second base. And over at first, the injured Bryant Winslow. Behind the plate, All-American Eric Wedge. And on the mound, senior right-hander Pat Cedeno. You see what Cedeno's done this year in his career, 31-7. Once again, we tell you a rematch of Cedeno and Keller from Monday night. And Ron, not a power pitcher, still doesn't know what round he's been drafted on, if he has been drafted. Relies on a changeup and a slider, good control. And I think a nice matchup between two guys who are not power pitchers and yet with great success.
Jim, you can see we have bright sunshine here in Omaha. Was not the case at about 3:30 this afternoon, but it's turned out to be beautiful. 71 degrees, the wind not a factor tonight. Humidity very low, and the chance of rain 30%. That's supposed to come, if it does, later this evening. Well, let's show you how these two clubs got here. First of all, for the Seminoles, defeated North Carolina 4-2. Then won over Wichita State 4-2, and then lost to Wichita State, knocking them out of the winner's bracket 7-4. And for the Shockers, defeated Arkansas, lost to Florida State, then had to defeat Arkansas and Florida State to stay alive, thus bringing them to this ball game tonight. Umpires tonight, Ron Graham is behind the plate. Dale Williams is at first, Gus Steiner down at second, and Bob Jones will be operating at third base.
Well, I think we've talked about the umpires and the difference in the strike zones throughout the College World Series. And if you want to talk about an umpire that has shown us a more liberal strike zone from a pitcher standpoint, I would say Ron Graham would be that guy. But I think all the coaches have commented on it. It has not been as liberal as past years. It's been very fair, but not as liberal.
Base coaches for the Seminoles. Chip Baker is at third. Rod Delmonico is over at first. And the first batter to step in to start it off tonight is Bob Raboyne. 362. A couple of home runs. Went 2 for 4 in the first game for the Seminoles here in the College World Series. Lays down a bunt. Cedeno out front, and it's going to be a foul ball as it went off his leg.
I think they might even call him out. I don't know. Let's see. Dale Williams, the first base umpire, has the call. Of course, if that ball would hit him out of the batter's box, on his way it would be out. Dale Williams alertly came in. Yeah, he says, I got that one under control. You're going to see a lot of this tonight. And there you see. Now hits him in the batter's box, foul ball. You're going to see a lot, I think, of Florida State attempting to bunt. They're successful more than 50% of the time, and I'm surprised that other teams have not tried to take advantage of Bryant Winslow's injury at first base.
Well, Mike Martin made in no uncertain terms today. If you said, if you think we're going to sit around and just watch things happen without making things happen, you're quite wrong. Florida State is going to come out and play games, send runners, bunt them around, do whatever we can.
I think they both will. Here we're talking about a team in Wichita State that stole 207 bases and an 85% success ratio, a little higher than that actually, coming into this World Series. They have 1 stolen base. And Florida State has 160 on the year, about 3 a game. They haven't utilized their speed.
Raboyne back in with a count of 0-1. The lead man, top of the first. Winner will face Texas tomorrow afternoon. The two programs meeting here tonight, you can see the numbers on Gene Stevenson. In the last 10 years have averaged more wins than anybody else in college baseball. Mike Martin's ball club has been averaging 55 wins per season. One pitch, lays down another bunt in a hurry. Over to first, and Cedeno got it.
Well, you think they don't try to get started with that bunt base hit. Raboyne, the one that just attempted it, now he's 7 for 16. Rocky Rob, Brian Gilliland, and Alan Beavis. Now he has 25 stolen bases, is not even in the lineup. But in a base stealing situation, you'll see him.
Brian Gilliland, the shortstop, the number 2 hitter for the Noles. Boy, it's great to see the sunshine with these two ball clubs at the park, because this was not the case the last time they played. In fact, as the first pitch was thrown, there were tornado sirens going off around the city of Omaha. And I'm afraid a lot of people turned back and went home. That was the lowest attended ball game because of the stormy weather, and they did get held up.
Yeah, we ought to point out that's really the only night we've had any kind of threatening weather whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's been beautiful.
Cedeno working very deliberately. 1-0 pitch down low for ball 2. Jim, when you look at pressure on the two ball clubs, and we talk so much about this, is there more on one than the other now that they're equal as far as each with a loss?
I don't think so. You know, I think Wichita State's coming in on a little bit of an uptick because of that win on Wednesday night, and you know they're getting over that loss of last year. I heard Gene Stevenson say, I mean, it took him months to forget that loss to Arizona State. So I think they're on a little bit of an uptick, but I don't see any team having really an edge.
Ball 4, and Gilliland is on base with the walk. Rob Vargas, the third baseman, is due.
Brian Gilliland, shortstop.
You know, the
333 is average, 53 RBIs, 4 home runs. Junior out of Sacramento, California. He was the MVP of that Atlantic Regional. It was 9 of 16.
Boy, he's got a quick bat. You see right there, they play him about straight away, but he's a hitter that can pull that ball between first and second, especially off Cedeno, not a power pitcher. And so what does Cedeno try to do? He's going to run that fastball, try to catch it on the outside corner. When you have a pitcher like that that lacks power, you know he's got a good idea and knows how to pitch in situations like this. Keep the ball away from the lefty, don't let him pull it.
Almost threw it away. One of the things that seems to be common among the Wichita State staff, though, you'll see the head fake by Cedeno. Greg Brummett also uses the same mannerism on the mound.
But we see that with all the college pitchers, and we talk about this game along with a major league game, and they're two separate games. They have separate rules, and one of the things they allow pitchers to get by with is a little more movement with the head and the spin move right there, the jump and throw.
Curveball for a strike, and he goes in front of the count. 1-2.
Here you go. Hey, Barbie. Go, Robbie. Go.
going to that two-seam sinker. Oh, now he's going to change. He got a little split finger there. Nice shot. Change up.
1-2 into center field. Audley on the run and will have it for the second out. Heading back to first base is Gilliland. As Audley just demonstrated, very big ballpark here at Rosenblatt. In case you're not familiar, 343 down the lines, 370 to power, alleys, and to straightaway center. You got to beef it up a little bit. 420. Buddy Cribb has the distinction of hitting the first one out of Rosenblatt Stadium for the 1989 College World Series. That was in that opener against North Carolina. Close over at first. Gilliland has to dive back in. Dale Williams says timeout momentarily.
But Buddy Cribb, a pronounced pull hitter. Now the center fielder oddly straight away, but look where Dreifert is. He's very close to the right field line. Leaves a big gap in right center field. Cedeno still having a little problems. You know, this has nothing to do with the rain the other night, but they sprinkle the infield and water down the mound a little before each ball game, and sometimes it's a little tacky out there. And right now, because of that wet dirt, Cedeno getting some of that mud in his spikes.
Cribb's only a sophomore. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, his home.
Normally, you don't expect to see a team try to steal bases with their cleanup hitter at the plate and the hole open. But like we talked about, I think you'll see base steals attempted in just about any situation, maybe even right here.
Gilliland had just started to lean towards second base, and another very close play.
Well, you think he had an idea of going to second base? Oops.
I think he
just got that hand back in. Dale Williams right on it.
2 out top of the first. 0-1 count to Buddy Cribb. Gilliland creeping off a little bit farther each time. Runner is going. Eric Wedge nails him at second base. Great throw by the catcher from Wichita State.
Well, going into tonight's ball game, the opposition had been 4 for 6 off Eric Wedge. He gets an absolutely perfect pitch to throw on. Good spot for Cedeno. Comes out of the chute and right on the money. Nice sweep tag by P.J. Forbes. So the patience of Pat Cedeno and holding him close pays off.
So the Seminoles are gone in the first inning, with the Shockers coming to the plate. The starting lineup for Wichita State brought to you by Wilson, the official ball of the College World Series. The head coach is Gene Stevenson, one step away from his first national title. Leading off for him tonight, playing center field, Jim Audley had a big home run in that opener here. The second baseman is P.J. Forbes. He'll bat second, had 114 hits during the season. The number 3 hitter, left fielder Mike McDonald. He has also over 100 hits on the year. The cleanup spot is catcher Eric Wedge. Has caught on fire here at the College World Series at the plate. The number 5 batter, first baseman Brian Winslow, played extremely well with a serious injury to his right leg. The number 6 spot is shortstop Pat Mears, never played high school baseball. Number 7 is right fielder Todd Dreifert, took extra hitting practice yesterday. In the number 8 spot is third baseman Mike Jones, good power for a little man. And the number 9 hole is designated hitter Mike Wentworth. He's a walk-on.
For the Seminoles on defense, freshman Chris Brock is in right field. Mark Ronan's the center fielder, best athlete on the team. Brad Parker is in left field. On the infield, Rob Barkas at third. Brian Gilliland is at short. Rocky Rao at second, and Bob Raboyne over at first. Behind the plate, freshman Pedro Grifol. And on the mound, the senior, 13-0 on the year, Clyde Keller. Talk about some career stats. Between his years at Sacramento City College and FSU, 51 and 6 in that nice 4-hitter to beat Wichita State on Monday. Not a power pitcher, palm ball. Will drop down to the side and throw that sweeping slurve. And I think tonight, Ron, we'll see a few more fastballs.
It's interesting when you talk to other coaches or some of the guys who are on the committee and you ask like for a one-word association with Keller, they say nasty. That palm ball is working the bottom. It really can make you look silly.
And he didn't take long to use it. First pitch of the game.
Jim Odley, a sophomore out of Overland Park, Kansas. Fine defensive center fielder. Also proved he could hit the baseball well. He surprised with a home run in the early part of the College World Series. Gene Stevenson over at third. Lauren Hibbs, the first base coach for the Shockers. Clyde Keller. 1-2 pitch.
Well, you see those last two pitches, Ron, both fastballs. They're sent in by that man, Mike Martin. One of the things I think he will do because of the success that Keller had with the palm ball is mix in a few heaters early in the ball game. Keep that lineup honest. Don't let him sit on the off-speed pitches.
Swung on and missed. Gets his first strikeout of the night for the first out of the evening.
Well, I said he'd have to be sharper tonight to do as well as he did the other night. Doesn't get much sharper. Two good fastballs, and then look at the bottom fall out of that palm ball.
Odley has gone on the strikeout. P.J. Forbes, the second baseman. 314 is average. 80 RBIs. Gene Stevenson said he was one that they worked with extra in practice yesterday. Had 114 hits on the regular season.
You know, Keller doesn't have an explosive fastball, but you see good movement on the ones he's thrown already tonight. Nice little sinking, tailing action to it.
Hung that one in the first base hit of the ball game for the Shockers.
Well, there's adjustment number one right there by P.J. Forbes. You see him really wait on that palm ball.
Mike McDonald, the left fielder for the Shockers. When you look at these guys' averages, RBIs, 95 RBIs for him. Three players in the lineup that are over 100 hits on the season. Scare you to death looking at him on paper. On the field, too, for that matter. He had a home run against Arkansas. Squares to bunt, takes it for a strike.
And one of the things that's sort of turned things around on offense for Gene Stevenson is moving this guy, McDonald, into the three-hole. When they opened the College World Series, Wedge was hitting third and McDonald fourth. Neither one were hitting very well. There's All-American Eric Wedge.
Jim, as it turns out, if Wichita State were to win this game and get into the championship, it could be the key move of the entire series.
I think so.
0-1 count. We play with one out. Bottom of the first inning. No score. Breaking ball. He hung that one also, and it might reach the gap. Forbes heading for third, and they're waving him home. McDonald into second, and it's 1-0. Wichita State.
Well, you got a team that's hitting over 300 as a team. You have to face them twice in 1 week. That ball comes back over the center of the plate. But see, that same pitch on Monday night, the Wichita State hitters were well out in front. McDonald goes the other way and with authority. And P.J. Forbes scores run number one. Shockers an early lead.
He has hung a couple. One went for a single, and the next went for a double. And Mike Martin is quickly out to the mound to talk with Keller.
Mike Martin with a few words of, I think, suggestion more than encouragement to Clyde Keller. Both those palm balls, give credit to Wichita State's hitters. They waited on them, but they were up in the strike zone a little bit more than the one he struck out Audley out on. Martin might say, hey, the kid's pumped up. He's throwing a little too hard. Let me just settle him down.
Eric Wedge. The catcher who threw out the base runner, Brian Gilliland, back in the top half of the inning.
Another thing I think they might have talked about, even though it's the first inning, Ron, is first base open, 1 out. This is one guy they don't want to let him swing the bat against him. You may see that semi-intentional walk here.
Secret Foal set up way outside, behind in the count 2-0.
Which can, that can be a little dangerous with a hitter like Wedge. If you're going to walk him, go ahead and stand outside and walk him, because Wedge knows that. Keller's not going to bust him inside with a fastball. He may just take a step out there and whack at him.
Well, besides trying to calm down Keller, I think Jim's exactly right.
Now they're going to walk him. See, the fish weren't biting. You try to get him to fish after one of those pitches early in the count. Experienced hitter like Eric Wedge not going to do it.
Brian Winslow, the first baseman for the Shockers. Down at second is McDonald, who doubled, got the first RBI of the ballgame, putting Wichita State on top 1-0. And now Wedge at first. Winslow, another one of the great stories of this 1989 College World Series. A stress fracture in his right leg, has continued to play. You see the wrap on his right arm. As we mentioned in the earlier game, it's easier to say what he hasn't hurt than what he has.
His hand was in there before you had him.
Well, you hear Gus Steiner in the background. I'm really surprised that they get by with that motion. I mean, that is a flagrant balk. His motion is going right toward home plate, and he spins in the middle of it. Watch this. He's on his way to home. Whoops. I mean, that's great coordination on the part of Clyde Keller. That's not easy to do as a pitcher.
McDonald took the glove across the chops on the tag also. He comes back home with a strike to Winslow.
Of course, Keller, we ought to mention, Ron, is a great athlete. Earlier this year against Mercer, he played all 9 positions in one game, so more than just a pitcher.
Runners at first and second, 1 out. Bottom of the first inning. Wichita State has jumped on top 1-0.
Yeah, and that 1-0 lead significant when you think about over the year. Wichita State 49-5 when they score the first run.
Works in front on Winslow. Pat Mears, the shortstop, is on deck.
Flash of signs by Gene Stevenson to both hitter and runners.
Raffol sets up outside, just misses. Goes even at 2.
You'd like to send the runners right here, 2-2 situation, 1 out, depending on the confidence you have in Bryant Winslow to make contact.
Swung on and missed, and he gets Winslow. Second strikeout for Clyde Keller.
Look at the movement on this pitch right here. That's a sinking fastball. And Keller figures if he didn't swing and miss, good spot to get a ground ball for a double play. Good pitcher's pitch.
Pat Mears, only a sophomore, was the third baseman for this ball club until the injury to Lansing at shortstop, and it got moved over.
With probably the quickest bat speed on this team, and you see how Florida State is playing him. In center field, Mark Ronan shading him to pull. And then Chris Brock is almost over in center field. I mean, they really give Mears the right field line.
The first meeting between these two won by Florida State. Mears was in the number 9 spot. Now has been moved up to the number 6 in the hitting order. Behind in the count 1-2. 2 out, bottom of the first. Wichita State leading 1-0. Runners at first and second.
Something we've seen just about every catcher do in the College World Series. You know, the batting averages aren't particularly high, but Pedro Grifol, we've seen it from John Prather, outstanding catcher for Texas, really do a good job of blocking the ball and keeping runners from advancing.
2-2 count with 2 out. Dropped down to the side and gets his 3rd strikeout. But the Shockers, with a couple of base hits, come up with 1 run. And as we go to the second, it's Wichita State 1 and Florida State 0.
Live from the Leonard Hearns Championship, live from the Belmont Stakes. All this week, reports from the biggest events live on ESPN Sports Center.
Top of the second, Wichita State 1-0 over Florida State. And for the Seminoles, Cribb, Brock, and Parker.
Twins playing tonight, but not in Omaha.
They start them early at the College World Series. 40th year for the city to host this event. Buddy Cribb, who was at the plate back in the first inning when his teammate Gilliland was thrown out on the attempted steal. He'll lead it off. Designated a hitter for the Noles. Cedeno's going to always pitch with confidence, but with his teammates jumping out, getting him an early lead in the ball game, I'm sure has not hurt his confidence. She jumps in front of Cribb, 0-2.
Well, we've had some great shots from our low home camera of pitchers' eyes. And I think tonight you see more relaxation in Pat Cedeno's eyes. The other night there's a little more anxiety there. He's a senior. He's been through postseason play. Big win over Michigan in the regional to help get Wichita State here.
1-2. Lined. Base hit into center field. Oddly coming over in a hurry. We had to wait and see if he was going to be able to get to it. And that's the first base hit of the night for the Seminoles.
You know, Ron, some hitters, they'll say play him away and pitch him away. But if you're a pull hitter, I don't care where the pitch is. Watch how Buddy Cribb reaches for that pitch. That's outside the strike zone. It ends up in right center field. I don't care where you pitch him. He's going to pull the ball.
Chris Brock, the right fielder. 25 RBIs, 333 his batting average. State well represented here in Omaha, Nebraska, is all the schools who are remaining in the tournament. On the ground, and it's through for the base hit. Cribb rounding second. They're going to bring him to third. Here comes the throw from Dryford, and he is in. In fact, the ball bounced off the base runner, and he will come home to score. We're tied at 1. The ball hit Cribb in the back. Coming in from Dryford in right field. And down to second goes Chris Brock.
Man on first base, nobody out. Watch the hitter's job, especially with Bryant Winslow not able to move as well as if he were healthy. Brock takes the inside pitch the other way. Forbes playing double play depth. He can't get to it. And then here Wichita State makes their 11th error of the College World Series. Dryford hesitates just a second. Tough short hop there for Mears. Ball gets away from Cedeno. He was in proper position to back up. And we've got a tie ball game.
E9 on the play as Brock goes down to second base, and it brings up Brad Parker. Brad is the left fielder, and now, Jim, we get down to the part of the order that Mike Martin would give anything to see these guys' bats come back alive, because Parker and Ronan are 1 for 18 between the two of them in the College World Series. Parker has the lone hit of that duo.
Yeah, this is one of your power guys in the lineup, but yet you don't figure this to be a low-scoring game. I know we've said that before and it hasn't happened, but even a power hitter here, they're swinging him around to pull. I would think Mike Martin wants him to try to take the ball to right field and advance Chris Brock.
Jim talked about power. You can see the credentials on him and what all he's done this season. Besides his 14 home runs, has 16 doubles. 1-1 the count, nobody out. We're tied inside, and he almost hit him.
You know, going back to that error by Todd Dreifert, really the throw getting away is a physical error, but the mental error was the big part. He hesitated, had no chance really to get the runner at third base. The wise move, of course, looking back, he doesn't have a chance to do that, would have been just throw it to second base. Keep the double play in order.
Down at second is Brock. You can see the top of his head as Parker wanted to turn on that one. Pulled up wisely, and the count goes 3-1.
When you don't have a lot of power, big fastball, you try to hide the ball. You try to do it with motion. And that's what Pat Cedeno does. And movement. That ball moving back inside to Brad Parker.
Second walk of the ball game given up by Cedeno. And now the Seminoles, who have tied the ball game here at top of the second inning with their own threat going. Runners at first and second, and Mark Ronan. Mark is 0 for the series. In fact, he's 0 for the postseason play. Did not get a hit in the regionals. And possibly one of the reasons for that is he came down with a strep throat. He had an illness and didn't play the first 2 games of the regional. And the youngsters had a tough time breaking out of it. And of course they depend on him because he's got 42 stolen bases. That's one of the things you were alluding to. Lays down the bunt, and it is it's just going to roll foul. Thought he had a beauty of staying on the line, and then just went foul.
Well, you know, Mark Ronan, 1 for 17, isn't hitting the ball well, but he's still their best athlete. You see right there his season average. Check that, 0 for 9 in College World Series, 1 for 17 in postseason play. You still want this guy swinging the bat with a man on second in scoring position. You don't want him dropping down a bunt unless it's a sacrifice bunt. Rocky Rao, the guy coming up behind him, no home runs and 16 RBIs. So still a man you want to drive the ball.
You have to think it was the illness, because since the end of the regular season, his batting average has dropped off 33 points. 0-1 the count, nobody out. Runners at first and second, and we're tied at 1. Cedeno tries to barehand the ball. Everyone will be safe. I'm not so sure there wasn't a base hit anyway.
Well, I think because of Ronan's high average and power, Wichita State not sure that he was going to bunt. You see the third baseman Jones isn't even breaking in. Cedeno feels, hey, the only shot I got is the barehand play. And once again, we've seen our share of misplayed bunts and errors become very costly in this College World Series.
So runners at first, second, and third. It's Brock over at third, Parker down at second, who walked, and Mark Ronan down at first. And they have given an error on the play to the pitcher. Gene Stevenson looking on. That's a little tough.
Yeah, Brent Chemnitz, the Wichita State pitching coach, coming out to the mound. This guy's had a great influence. That's Brent right there on this pitching staff. And coaches for the Anchorage Glacier Pilots during summer baseball.
Franklin and Jim Cott from Omaha, Nebraska. In this national semifinal matchup, the winner will meet Texas tomorrow for the championship. Rocky Rao. Good job by Wedge, although he backhanded to knock the ball down.
Big stop right there. You know, Cedeno's got excellent control, and I don't think, I think Wedge kind of sitting on the inside corner certainly didn't expect that pitch to be out there.
Rao doesn't hit with a lot of power. Does have 4 doubles, no home runs.
Once again, that play that we see so often, no element of surprise anymore because everyone uses it about 5 times a game.
Luma is up and throwing in the Shocker bullpen. I don't think you'll see coaches be quite as patient tonight as they might have been earlier, Jim. Not with what is at stake. Right back through the box. It will score 1. They are bringing Parker around from second as the throw comes in. It's cut off, and it is 3-1 Florida State.
Well, it won't be charged as an error, but the defense, you see, Brent Kemnitz's not too happy with that right there. The ball right back at Pat Cedeno. A perfect 1-2-3 double play. Pitcher home, and he ducks out of the way of the ball. Watch right here, right back at Cedeno, and he's in decent position, just doesn't put the glove up. Ducks out of the way of it, and instead of the 1-2-3 double play, Seminoles have a 3-1 lead.
Pedro Grifol, the outstanding freshman catcher for Florida State. And folks, the other night against Newland, the ace out of the bullpen for Wichita State, we saw this youngster hit a ball that took about 1.2, maybe 1.3 seconds to get out of the park. He can lace it. Ronan at third, Rocky Rao down at first. Knocked down by Mears, throws to second, and they got it. Mark Ronan comes across to score to make it 4-1. Rao is forced at second. Grifol down at first on the fielder's choice.
Well, we've seen some errors on some routine ground balls, and then we see some great plays like this right here. P.J. Forbes did it the other night. Pat Mears, from his belly, fires a low strike, and a good play by P.J. Forbes. I mean, this ball is scalded in the hole right there. He takes a base hit away, and a difficult catch by Forbes.
Grifol at first, 1 down, and we go back to the top of the order. Bob Raboyne.
Boy, the walks, Ron, we've seen 3 of them already in this ball game. 2 by Cedeno and 1 by Keller. And in the College World Series, 88 walks. It's about 6 a game. And almost a third of those scores, so the walks have been more costly really than the home run.
Runner is going. Fly ball to deep left field. McDonald drifting back and catches it right in front of the warning track for the second out. I think McDonald, Jim, was fooled just a little bit as he camped underneath it and had to continue to move back to his left and got it right on the edge of the warning track.
Well, he's going to run anybody. Mike Martin, Pedro Grifol, not a base stealer, but he put the hit and run on right there. Raboyne hit it well, but in the air.
Brian Gilliland, the shortstop for the Seminoles, having a good College World Series. Walked and it was caught stealing back in the first. Grifol was going from first base, and with 2 outs there.
Yeah, and that's a good play. Now, if the guy's in second base, try to knock him in. But Grifol doesn't have good speed, but you want to, if you can bung him to second base and get Vargas in the batter's box, that's a good play with 2 out. Gilliland not really extra base power.
Ryan is the 8th batter for the Seminoles to come to the plate here in the second.
Might have bit, a little message right there. Cedeno says, hey, I'm getting tired of seeing you guys play this bunt baseball. Start running up on the plate, I'll give you a little chin music.
See if Gilliland liked the tune. 4 runs and 3 hits for Florida State. Wichita State 1 run on 2 hits. And the Shockers with a couple of errors. 1-1 pitch, pops it up. Coming back here.
Really thought Pat Cedeno would be a lot sharper in this game tonight. I mean, the whole ball club being down in the field before the game, you sense they were a little more confident and relaxed. Of course, it's been the lapse on defense that's cost them the throwing error, failure to pick up the bunt, more really than the pitching.
One-two pitch, fouls it off. The Shockers jumped on top 1-0 to the bottom of the first, and the Seminoles with an answer of 4 here in the top of the second inning. In the air, and the shortstop Mears calls off P.J. Forbes. That'll do it in the second inning. But not before Florida State picks up 4 runs on 3 hits. And as we head to the bottom half of the inning, 4-1 Seminoles. The Seminoles have broken on top. In this elimination game, the winner will face the Texas Longhorns tomorrow at noon Wichita time for the national championship.
You know, we've talked about Clyde Keller's palm ball run and how much it dips right at the last minute. Here's the strikeout to Jim Audley. Now we're going to pick this ball up about 12 to 15 feet from home plate. 68 miles an hour. Watch the bottom fall out of it. The last 12 feet that ball drops almost a foot and a half. Down to 67 miles an hour, swings over it, and another strikeout on the palm ball.
The lines on the screen on supervision, increments of 1 feet. And as Jim said, 18 inches. Pretty good drop on that. You can tell when it's working. Some of the folks from Wichita. Todd Dreifert, the right fielder, will lead it off in the bottom of the second. In the College World Series, 4 for 14, has scored 1 run, 1 RBI. Walked once, and he has struck out 6 times.
Should be a little encouraging to Mike Martin to have this early 4-1 lead. Florida State came into the College World Series with the best team ERA, 2.92 a team ERA.
Opposite way, and he gets himself a lead single in the second inning. Good piece of hitting right there. Dreifert waited and just took it to left.
Just a freshman into the lineup because of the injury to Jeff Bonaquista. Nice hitting approach right here. Watch the head right down. Watch the barrel meet the ball, and once again out in front of the plate. Takes the outside pitch the other way.
Mike Jones, the third baseman. 50 RBIs and 9 home runs, hitting .328.
Something you don't often see from Wichita State, Gene Stevenson's teams, is that swinging at the first pitch. Of course, if Keller can show them that he's got good control, then they'll begin to go off and probably guess fastball early in the count and swing. Most of the time they take a patient approach, try to work them into deep counts.
Dreifert, pretty good lead over at first. Down low for a ball. There he is, Little Joe, Joe Morgan. Joe will be working with CBS tomorrow afternoon as they televise the national championship beginning at 1 o'clock Eastern time. 1-1 the count. 4-1. Florida State on top. Bottom of the second inning.
Jones. Excuse me, Ron. You know, down 4-1, not ideal hit and run situation, but both of these coaches are going to play more aggressively than normal. I think he might be going right here.
Keller drops down to the side, evens the count at 2. Mike Jones is out of Wichita, Kansas. Another sophomore. Red dot representing Todd Dreifert at first. He opened the inning with a single. Beautiful sunset today, particularly thinking that there's only 30% chance of water in those clouds. Well, we had a great evening last night. In fact, it turned not cool but cold here at the park.
We've had a great evening every night. It's just one of those nights it rained a little bit.
Yeah, that's right. The count will go full to 3-2.
Baseball every night. No games postponed.
It's 2 years in a row, Jim. We get a list of all the committees, but we've never seen one who heads up the Sunshine Committee. Drops down to the side again, and he misses with a pitch, ball 4. So runners at first and second for Wichita State with nobody out.
Well, a little uncharacteristic there of the senior Clyde Keller. And yeah, that's a little uncharacteristic too. See a young man with his face painted up like that. But Keller's got outstanding control. Gets a 4-1 lead. Immediately puts himself in a giant hole.
Mike Wentworth, the DH. Club needs his bat to come alive in this one tonight. Shockers down by 3 after they had led 1-0. But they got their own uprising going in the bottom half here.
Mike Wentworth only has 1 home run on the year, but what a big one. Regional. A game winner against Fresno State. And they're really, for a guy with only 1 home run, I mean, they play him almost. Mark Ronan is way out in deep center field.
The count. Squares to bunt, lets it go, call strike. Whitworth was a great story in the West 2 regional. Just 1 hit there, but it easily was the biggest one of his career. It was a 2-run homer in the 4th against Fresno State, and it gave the Shockers a lead of 5-4. They went on to win that and eliminate Fresno State. Back to the pitcher, and Keller will get the lead runner over at third. Dreifert is gone. Wentworth at first, and Jones moves down to second.
Gene Stevenson saying, I'm not going to try to get him back all at one time. Let me put a couple runners in scoring position. But Rob Vargas, best all-around third baseman that Florida State has had, alertly retreats to the bag. Clyde Keller, the good athlete. And then Vargas trying a little fake throw there to see if he can trap the runner off second. Good execution by the Seminoles right there.
Back to the top of the order, Jim Audley. They got it. Mike Jones looks around and says, wait a minute. And Gus Steiner has just called him out.
I'll tell you, this guy, he went to Arthur Murray or something. You got to take dancing lessons to be able to have that kind of body control. Time play right there. You see Gilliland kick the dirt. Now Jones, he has no idea that Keller's coming to second base. He's out easily. But we've seen Keller do that twice now. Balance on that back foot. Go to home and turn and throw to second.
Swung on by Audley on a pitch that only went about 58.5 feet.
Look right here. Get on a pitcher's mound sometime and try to do this. Now the pitch is coming to home plate, right? Oops. How will you do that? Keep your balance and turn and throw to second base like that.
You could see on that replay and that angle right there, great call by Gus Steiner. Just bang, bang, but he had him. breaking pitch, and he's in front of Audley, 0-2.
Cedeno couldn't field the bunt. The Shockers did not execute. As a result, Florida State turns it into 4 runs. Here the Seminoles duel and add the pickoff play, are getting themselves out of a jam.
Bottom of the second. 4-1. Florida State. Wichita State got one in the first. Couple of runners on in this inning with nobody out, and they strand them on some good defense and a third strikeout by the pitcher Clyde Keller. 4-1. Florida State on top.
I think that
Florida State on top 1-0 as the Maniac entertains in between innings. Florida State on top. Elvis never did it any better.
Boy, I tell you, he does it all year long down in Miami, and then entertains the fans here at Rosenblatt Stadium during the College World Series.
Rob Vargas, the third baseman, will lead it off in the third.
We've seen a lot of bunts down the third base line in this whole College World Series, and the indecision really the other night on that wet field cost Florida State that game. Ricky Kimball coming over. Tonight we've already seen 2. Well, not having a lot of success with the sinking fastball or the changeup, Cedeno says, let's try the breaking ball. Good downer. Might have been a split finger, though. Broke down and away a little bit.
0-2 the count on the lead man in the third, Vargas.
Always got to have little games to play out in the bullpen. Occupy your time. That's pretty good talent right there.
Pitch on the ground to the right side. P.J. Forbes. 1 down in the third. Seminoles enjoying Omaha, Nebraska. Like folks have for 40 years as this tournament has been hosted in Omaha, Nebraska now for 40 years. Cripps singled in the second. Straightaway center field. Not very deep. Audley to his right, and he's got it for the second out.
Well, Audley had to go quite a ways for that ball. We mentioned how Buddy Cribb, no matter where you pitch him, is going to try to pull the ball. Cedeno just got that ball in on him a little bit where he was late. Audley had to cover a lot of ground.
So 2 down, and Chris Brock. Chris singled in the second inning, scored the second run of the game for the Seminoles. It was his third base hit of this College World Series.
Command of that off-speed pitch. You know, both coaches, Ron, play this game as if it's a 7-inning ball game. In fact, tonight I think we can say a 6-inning ball game. See Cedeno turn away from the hitter, and then you'll see that nice dip right at the end.
In the air to left. Line shot, and it's caught by McDonald. So an easy inning for Pat Cedeno in the third inning, and the Noles are gone quietly. 4-1, Florida State on top.
Irrational becomes
first, and the Seminoles answered with 4 in the top of the second inning. Right now, bottom of the third. Yeah, a few clouds out there, but a gorgeous sunset on this Friday evening. Hard to believe it. Just a week ago tonight, Jim, we opened up this tournament. We've seen a lot of baseball since then, but it's gone quickly, and we've seen some great games.
And these two teams have seen a lot of one another. Their third meeting in the College World Series.
P.J. Forbes, number 9, the second baseman. I know we discussed it the other night. We won't wear it out, but it does bring or give credence to some arguments about maybe they should flip-flop in brackets. Popped in the infield. Gilliland, the shortstop, will have it for the first out. One pitch, one gone.
Yeah, by flip-flop brackets, what we're discussing for those that have not been with us the entire week is there are 2 divisions in this College World Series, and so some team you never get to play one another till you get to the final game. And there has been suggestion that that's second to the last day. Texas has only played 3 games, for example. They're going right to the final game. But maybe in that semifinal day, have a team from the West cross over to a team in the East. That may happen in the future. Oh, 54-footer. I don't care if you're Ryan, Gibson, Seaver. They've all thrown those. A smile on his face.
There's one pitcher not going to argue with the umpire. 1-0 pitch on the ground. Again to the shortstop, Gilliland.
You know, just basic defense. Coaches will say, give me a shortstop or an infielder that can make the routine play. Watch Brian Gilliland look this ball right into his glove. Tail down, head down, glove down. Now that's what you call proper fundamentals, fielding a ground ball. Plenty of time and an accurate throw.
Eric Wedge, the outstanding catcher for the Shockers of Wichita State. He's got some great numbers. Threw out a base runner attempting to steal. Gilliland back in the first inning. In fact, was intentionally walked his first trip up in the first. He's got a heavy binding on his left arm. He got banged on that the other night on a foul ball.
And you see Clyde Keller's going to pitch him aggressively right here. This is exactly when Florida State wants to see him come up with nobody on. As you see that wrap on his left forearm, collision at home plate. Well, you know, we talked about Wichita State's offense kind of coming alive when those 2 guys flip-flopped, with McDonald hitting third and Wedge fourth. That's what they've done. The other way, just 2 for 13. Now they're 6 for 16, 8 RBIs.
Just outside, and the count goes 3-1. Two down, bottom of the third. Seminoles leading by 3. Hard hit ball to the third baseman, Vargas. And a 1-2-3 inning for Florida State. So we go to the 4th. Parker, Ronan, and Rao due up for Florida State. 4-1, top of the 4th inning. Florida State leading.
Pat Cedeno with a good split-fingered fastball, a little down action, and once again on supervision we'll show you the pitch that he got Rob Vargas out on last inning. Now the ball will come into the picture about 15 feet from home plate. There you see it, 65 miles an hour, and that ball, those lines, 1-foot increments, drops almost a couple of feet. Get another look at it from center field. Watch the bottom fall out of it. Good action right there.
Pat Cedeno, in his first outing against Florida State, went 6 2/3. Brad Parker, leading RBI man on this Florida State club. Ball is hit in foul territory by the catcher Wedge. He came back and bounced off his chest protector.
Yeah, Eric was almost too quick there. He jumps out from behind the plate and almost hit that in fair territory. You know, if he did and knocks it foul, fair ball. Here's your home run hitter trying to drop down a bunt. He caught it in the batter's box.
Misses outside. Wedge is truly one of the inspirational leaders of this Wichita State club. You might have seen in the last ball game, it was won by Wichita State 7-4. He attempted to throw out a base runner down at second as the ball is fouled back. The ball was not handled by the shortstop. He stood at home plate and really growled at his teammate about making the play.
Yeah, they've probably been as emotional as any team here, because of last year, because of all the injuries. They're missing Mike Lansing and Bonaquista, and Winslow's not at full strength. So, they'd like to prove a point here, and I think as a result, they've played with a little more emotion than most of the teams.
1-2 pitch. Strike 3.
Early innings going with a fastball and a changeup, and now we've seen him. I think that's the split finger, either the split finger or the curveball. And Ron Graham mentioned at the top of the show, a little more liberal with that strike zone than most of the umpires.
First strikeout of the game for Cedeno. Mark Ronan. Mark is a sophomore. Love the story as a freshman. Hit Mike Martin in the ear with a throw from behind home plate in practice one day. Coach required over 20 stitches, and he said he got my attention. I knew about his arm. Went behind the plate, and then Pedro Grifol came on the scene this year, and they had to find a place for Ronan to play. But it really demonstrates what an athlete he is, because you normally wouldn't think of a guy going from behind home plate to center field, but that's where they're moving. Turns on this one and singles into right field. His first base hit of the College World Series.
Yeah, best athlete on the team right there, Mark Ronan. And give you an idea of a team player. He'd rather be catching. Mike Martin says, we've got a good freshman catcher. We really need you in center field. So he's playing center field, but if he had his choice, he'd rather be behind the plate, especially if you have your eye on a professional career. Organizations are looking for catchers, and a guy that's got 42 stolen bases.
One out, Rocky Rao. Singled in the second. Shortstop, Mears, Forbes, back over to Winslow, and they get the double play. So Florida State with a one-out single, and it goes awry as defensively Wichita State comes up big, and we go to the bottom of the inning. Seminoles by 3.
It's an absurd idea. I mean, what would a ghost be doing here? What?
David. No other diet soft drink delivers the real cola taste of 1-calorie Diet Coke. The real one. It's lifting more and more spirits every day. Just for the taste of it. Oops. The move is on to Diet Coke. Diet Coke.
You're looking sharp. You're looking good. You've come so far. And we know how to make the most of who you are. Where the race is run, you're the champion. Gillette.
The Gillette Atra Plus system with the Lubra Smooth Strip for the best a man can get.
Mike Jones, third baseman, as Mears waits down at first.
This might be a case right here where you would think, you don't want to run a guy when you're 3 runs down. But here's one of those 2-out situations. Gene Stevenson tried to get a runner in the scoring position.
Right between Keller's legs for a base hit. Mears rounds second. He'll hold up as the throw comes back in. And the Shockers with a 2-out single and runners at first and second now.
We saw one go over Pat Cedeno's glove. Clyde Keller, third baseman and second baseman when he's not pitching last year. Hasn't played there much this year. That one goes between his legs. Now we've got the same situation with Wentworth at the plate, except there are 2 out. He's going to get a chance to swing the bat.
Pitch way inside. In fact, Wentworth had to make a good move to get out of the way. He could have been a little bit lazier and taken the hit by the pitch, which would have loaded him and gone back to Jim Audley. Ball 2. Shocker fans putting the hands together. They trail by 3. We're bottom of the 4th. 2 out.
A little dangerous. Mike Martin taking a deep breath. Dangerous because you're starting to let men at the bottom of the order get away. You know, Audley has 7 walks in the College World Series. He's got a couple of home runs. You don't want to let those 7, 8, and 9 guys get away.
Big situation for the senior out of Canton, New York, as Jim Audley on deck.
I say a couple of home runs. He's got 1 home run in the College World Series, 2-run homer.
Mears at second, Jones at first. 2 out. 3-1 pitch, and it is long and gone. A home run for Wentworth. Tie ball game. The youngster that we talked about hit a very dramatic home run in the West 2 Regional, and he has come up big in the College World Series. We're tied at
4. I mean, do you believe this? Here's a kid that Gene Stevenson said will warm up pitchers, rake the infield, anything you want him to do. Doesn't get much opportunity to play. His 2nd home run of the year, and ties the ball game. Wow, talk about inspirational leaders. There's one right there.
Clyde Keller looking on as the Shockers have answered with 3 from that young man right there. And I'll tell you the truth, at the meeting this morning, Gene Stevenson said, I guess it's going to be Wentworth, because that's one of the first things you asked me when you came out this afternoon. Did they change, or did they stay with Wentworth at DH?
Well, he hasn't been getting any production from that bottom part of the order. There's a big smile on that young man's face. 2 home runs postseason play.
Mike Wentworth out of Canton, New York, with a 3-run homer in the bottom of the 4th inning with 2 out. And the Shockers are right back in this one, tied at 4. Just misses outside, 3-1.
Mike Martin saying, was the pitch outside?
Pitch outside. Outside.
On the ground to the shortstop. Gentlemen, throw is high. He's 6. The Shockers are not done in the 4th.
Boy, a big lift from the bottom of the order to get a chance to turn around. Once again, fundamentally, Gilliland fields the ball right. just kind of aims it over. Not that nice loose throw. Now the Shockers with an outstanding base stealer. See Audley just run past the tag, and a chance to get that lead run in scoring position. Great speed at first base.
Raboyne doing a good job to retrieve the ball, tried to make a sweep tag, and Audley was past him. P.J. Forbes. Singled in the first, scored the first run of the game for Wichita State.
Back to that Mike Wentworth story, but 41 at-bats he had in the whole year coming into this ball game. A backup catcher, kind of a do anything that's necessary to stay on the team. Reminded by our guys downstairs that back in 1985, Greg Elena, the hero for Miami, was the same type of player.
Gilliland, this time to the second baseman, Rocky Rao, for the third out. Wichita State scores 3 runs on 3 hits. The big blast was the 3-run homer by Mike Wentworth. And as we go to the 5th, we are tied at 4. Grifol, Raboyne, and Gilliland due up for Florida State.
Before you take a single picture, before you press the shutter, before you autofocus, before you operate the fully motorized extended range zoom lens, before you place it next to your eye, before you even touch it, you're going to want to own it. The incredible 35mm Infinity Super Zoom 300 from Olympus.
Until I moved here, I never realized how every block is like a small town. There's a nice corner market. Everybody meets at the coffee shop. My landlady, Lillian, she keeps her eye on everything, including me, the newcomer, up here alone with some boxes and a suitcase.
Come on, you're not alone. You got your phone and you got me.
Before you move, one call to AT&T helps put everything in place so you can feel right at home.
I miss you.
I miss you too.
AT&T, we take you right there and keep you this close.
In every town in America, there's always one place that does a little bit better job of fixing your car. And it seems the things they all have in common are great mechanics, great service, and Napa parts.
ESPN's presentation of the 1989 NCAA College World Series from Omaha is brought to you by Geo. No matter what you're looking for in a car, it's a Geo. And by the Coca-Cola Company and your local bottler of Coca-Cola Classic. Ron Franklin and Jim Cott, top of the 5th inning. Florida State and Wichita State locked up in a good one. The semifinal game, the winner tomorrow will take on the Texas Longhorns for the national championship. Pedro Grifol, the freshman catcher, leads it here in the 5th.
Give Pat Cedeno a little bit of juice going to the mound now in the top of the 5th. That 3-run homer right back in the ball game. You see right there, Ron, in the breaking ball, he's pumped up, but he's still only going to throw it 75 miles an hour. None of these guys are going to get it up there in the 90s. Their fastball about mid-80s. They've got to change speeds, both Keller and Cedeno, to be effective.
1-2 the count on Grifol, the freshman out of Miami. Fly ball to left field. Mike McDonald for the first out. Some of the headlines made here this week, Jim. McDonald, 4 career losses, setting the record. Of course, talking about Ben McDonald. Newland, the great relief pitcher for Wichita State.
And Jim Newland will get a chance to break that tonight if the Shockers take the lead late in the game. But that Texas hitting. And the attendance, as always, just keeps getting better every year.
the order, first baseman. And although it looks like we're headed for another record at the College World Series, as I mentioned, the last time these two teams met, because of the bad weather, that was the poorest crowd of all because of the elements. The record could have been even greater if they do in fact reach it.
That's a good off-speed pitch. You know, this crowd is a bipartisan crowd, I guess, but it almost is quieted by that home run by Mike Wentworth. You know, you think that would have got him a little excited.
Misses outside at 2.
Shockers had that shocking loss really last year, and I think that home run right there beginning to show signs of maybe things turn around a little bit this year for them.
In the air to center field, oddly. Comes in a couple of steps, and there are 2 gone in the fifth. Trenton, Illinois.
I mentioned Mike Wentworth, a walk-on. He's from Canton, New York. Came a long ways to play his baseball at Wichita State. What a nice story for a walk-on. Just trying to do anything to hang on and contribute to the ball club. I mean, think about that. 2 home runs, and both in postseason play. Game winner to game tire.
This is high. Jim, explain something about Cedeno's windup. A lot of times from the stretch, but even just then, he almost hits himself in the jaw with his glove.
Yeah, he wants to get that hand in the glove back behind him for a couple of reasons. One, because that kind of keeps the pitcher's weight back. You make that hip turn and it keeps your weight back, keep you from rushing out front. It also kind of helps you conceal the ball a little bit. Here's what you're talking about. You see Cedeno swing the arms backward. Now there he's a little quick. Ball went high and away.
This is high with that one. Yeah.
Those are your passes.
He might have had a couple of friendly ones with the guys in the truck looking at those eyes. Misses high and a 2-out walk. You know, talking about motions that are distinctive, and there have been many over the years, but as far as this one right here, always will remember Don Sutton, who ducked his head. He brought his hands over the head.
Every pitcher has a few little characteristics that are, you know, individual to their motion. That just help them get in proper position to throw the ball. About another 2-out walk. See what damage that does here.
Tied at 4, top of the 5th inning. Florida State, Wichita State, just outside.
And I think you're going to, if you ever have an ideal running situation, it's got to be right here. Cedeno has missed the strike zone with 5 pitches. You know he's going to want to throw a strike. Vargas can pull the ball. Gilliland with good speed.
Fouled off down the right side, and the count goes even at 1.
Now, even though both coaches said they really wanted to open it up, it's easy to say that on the morning of a game, but when you actually get into the ball game to put the signs on and execute, it's a different story. We've really seen them take a rather conservative approach tonight based on what their thoughts were coming into it. They've had a lot of opportunities to run and haven't done it.
Even on Vargas at 1. Flied out of the first, grounded out second to first in the 3rd. Tough pitch, great movement late.
Once again, we mentioned that Cedeno not the power pitcher, but an intelligent pitcher. Vargas has the power to pull the ball, keeps the ball in the outside corner.
Down at first base with 2 out. cannot hold on, and it's going to be a stolen base for Gilliland.
But some of the reasons you wait for a pitch deeper in the count to send your runner is you try to guess breaking ball. Much easier to steal on a breaking ball. Tougher for the catcher to handle it. Evidence right there. Ball in the dirt, no chance.
So now the Knowles with a man in scoring position with 2 out.
You know, and on a 3-2 count, Rob Vargas trying to be a little more patient. The Seminoles shift him around the pull. They're giving him a lot of room in left center field. See that big hole out there.
3-2 pitch is high. So a couple of 2-out walks, and it brings up the man that Florida State would like to have at the plate, and that's Buddy Cribb.
Come on, Cesar! Nothing gets through out in the field. Here we go, man.
They swing Cribb around the pull. Not quite as drastic as they did in his first at-bat.
Cribb tried to hold up, but he fouls it off. I think we just heard another nickname for Pat Cedeno. Do you hear somebody down in the dugout say, "Come on, Cesar"?
Cesar Cedeno. They see Cribb. Anything from the middle of the plate in is where he's going to be quick.
2 out, runners at first and second. Just misses with a changeup. Second base, Gilliland. And at first, Rob Vargas. Time is called by home plate umpire Ron Graham.
Pitch inside, but he got it up. You know, most left-hand hitters, you see Cribb having a nice conversation with himself up there. Most left-hand hitters that have that kind of pull power, they like the ball down and in. So you try to pitch the fastball up and in. Right now, I'd say Wedge going to go back outside with that split finger or come upstairs again with the high heater. He's got 2 options.
1-2 the count, 2 out. It off down the left side.
Little danger zone there. He got by with that one. It was really in Cribb's hitting area. He's just a little late at it. Late swinging at it.
Wichita State led off the scoring in the ballgame. He scored 1 in the bottom of the first inning. Then Florida State got 4 in the second. Wichita State, and then Wentworth 3-run blast of the right field fence has tied it at 4. Florida State with an opportunity right here. A couple of walks with 2 out by Cedeno.
Well, usually good hitters, they have a way of kind of taking the pitcher's pitch, which this was, and just getting a piece of the bat on it. See, that was a great pitch by Cedeno. Cribb has to reach way outside the zone just to get a piece of the bat on.
In the air to shallow right. Second baseman P.J. Forbes making the call, and that will do it for the Seminoles in the top of the 5th inning. Well, they get a couple of base runners on by way of the walk, but no damage done. Bottom of the inning coming up. We're still tied at 4.
Have you ever asked what's your best price on a new car and never got an answer? That won't happen with Ford Man. Ford Man has tagged every new Rusty Eck Ford car and truck with Rusty's best price. No need to shop. No need to ask. Just find the car you want at Rusty Eck Ford and you'll see Rusty's best price clearly tagged for all to see. 200 cars and trucks must be sold at Rusty's best price. No dealers, brokers, or wholesalers, please. The yellow tag sale ends soon, so hurry to Rusty Eck Ford, the home of Ford Man.
It takes a long time and careful work to carve out a lasting reputation in any field. Banking is no exception. At the First, we've been providing careful, consistent money management since 1876. And as the times have changed, so have we, to provide innovative services that make banking easier. When you look for the leader in expert financial management, look to the bank that makes you its first priority. First National Bank in Wichita.
Bottom of the 5th, tied at 4. The winner meets Texas tomorrow, 1 o'clock Eastern Time. So we crown a new champion in the last one for the 1980s.
Nice skies over Nebraska tonight.
Beautiful. Stanford Cardinal having won back-to-back championships. First time that had happened since back in the 70s, but they didn't qualify for this year's Final 8.
Great setup for Gene Stevenson. The big 3-run homer by Wentworth tie the game now. The next inning against Keller, after he's had a tough inning, he gets to send 3, 4, and 5. Another good opportunity for him to score.
Donald, Wedge, and Winslow due up.
You know, to be effective, Clyde Keller has to have command of that palm ball. And you see right there, not been able to get it in the strike zone over 50% of the time like he did the other night. Hasn't gone to the change either.
Fly ball, left field. Parker giving chase, and he's got room right in front of the fence. Not much wind tonight. A lot of carry for the right-handed hitters.
Yeah, McDonald's doing a good job of waiting more on Keller's off-speed pitch. Took the first at-bat, took it into right center, and you see the good extension right there. In this at-bat, chases Parker out onto the warning track. So they're timing him a little better tonight than they did on Monday night. A little bit of breeze like we've had. That baby's out of here.
Help me, I'm trying to remember any day of the series that we have had this little wind.
We've had a couple days with not much wind, but this is probably as ideal a night for playing baseball as we've had.
Falls behind on Wedge, 2-0. I think the first game that McDonald pitched was not much wind that night. Tied at 4, Florida State and Wichita State.
Going to give him a fastball to hit when he's behind in the count. I mean, despite giving up the home run and the 6 hits tonight, Keller still has that composure. Gives the impression he's well in control of things.
Outfield is deep. Center fielder Ronan shades him just a little bit to left. And it's even at 2.
I mean, coming in with those off-speed pitches behind in the count, he's got Wedge talking to himself up there. He wants a fastball to hit at. And if he gets one, it's going to be letter high inside.
Wedge had to talk to himself the other night for 56 minutes during the rain delay. On the ground, base hit. True on the left side. Gilliland made the move, but he couldn't get over quickly enough. And it's a 1-out single for the Shockers in the 5th.
Watch the way he swings at this pitch right there. Goes almost outside the strike zone to get the barrel on the ball and pulls it. Boy, you got to give the Shocker hitters credit, making good adjustments. Keep that head down on the ball. I've seen a lot of that between Texas and Wichita State. The hitters kind of watching the ball hit the bat.
Off the fist to the shortstop, Gilliland, and he...
Oh, we got a double play.
And they're going to call a double play because of Wedge oversliding the bag.
Touchy, but you know, that's the way they call it in the college game. But that really, that's kind of a touch foul.
So we're going to take a break. A double play called on Wedge at second. We're tied at 4. We go to the 6th.
You can't stop the world in its tracks. But you can take an alternate route in the Audi 200 sedan. It's designed to move with graceful authority. And of course, it can stop the same way, because its advanced brakes assign stopping power according to the size of the load. Welcome reassurance for ignoring the ordinary and taking the alternate route.
It's hard to rely on any of your tools if you can't rely on the ones you measure with. So we build the durability into every tape we make. That's why you don't see people replacing their Lufkin measuring tapes, but why you do see them buying more. Lufkin tapes. From Cooper Tools, the difference between work and workmanship.
Now 4-4, Florida State, Wichita State go to the top of the sixth. A touchy call at second base. Gene Stevenson still stalking the dugout. Here it is, Brian Gilliland with no chance to turn two over to Rocky Rose. See, Rao not making any effort at all to go to first base. He's just getting out of the way, kind of stumbles over Wedge's body. Gus Steiner, veteran umpire, says, nope, that's the rules. You slide out of the base, that's a double play. Now, I understand they want to protect infielders. You don't want any busted knees, knee surgery, but that is a really touchy call. They had no chance to turn a double play, and Wedge meant no harm by the slide.
Eric Wedge, we mentioned earlier in the ball game, he is very fiery, and you can see right there. But the double play is called, so you score it 6-4-3.
Excuse me, Ron, you try to teach guys to play aggressive baseball, not dirty baseball, but then you get calls like that. That takes that aggression away. I mean, this is baseball. It's not a contact sport, but there's times when you have to have some aggression, and that guy right there is an aggressive player.
Remember early in the week, and I don't remember which coach it was, but in one of our meetings they said that the committee had mentioned that any...
Yeah, you deviate from the line, they're going to call it. But you'd think they would take into consideration, did they have a chance to turn two?
Yeah, exactly.
Not there.
Exactly. And that's the point I think Gene Stevenson was arguing. Breaking pitch, swings and misses. He's in front 0-2.
Oh, we've seen a little contrast here in the pitchers. Keller had command early and lost it there in that big three-run fourth inning. He's been a little shakier. Cedeno seems to be getting a little bit sharper.
State and Wichita State tied at 4. Shockers have 7 base hits, a couple of errors, and Florida State 4 runs, 4 hits, and 1 boot. Brock single back in the second, scored the second run of the game for the Noles, and then flied out in the third. Strike 3, and they ring him up. Second strikeout of the ball game for Pat Semifinals.
Yeah, you get a senior pitcher that had a loss in the other night in the Monday game and falls behind in this one. You give him a second chance with that 3-run homer. You're going to try to take advantage of it. Wedge sitting on the outside corner. Cedeno puts it right there.
Brad Parker, the left fielder. Is outside, falls behind 2-0. Parker out of Tallahassee, Florida.
See if Cedeno pitches Parker like Keller did to Wedge. Get behind 2-0. You know the power hitter's going to be sitting on the fastball. If he's got confidence in that split finger.
Hard hit ball, one hop to P.J. Forbes, and he nails it. P.J. Forbes has shown great range and some excellent play at second base during this College World Series.
Yeah, the Shockers have been a little shaky on defense. They've made 11, now 12 errors as a team. Forbes just won. He's made some outstanding plays. The play he made the other night against Florida State really was a game saver. Went out into short right center field and backhanded that ball.
Well, you know he can cover his position, but they've added to that because of the lack of mobility of Brian Winslow at first base. The youngster hasn't blocked at all. He's been right there. There's Winslow. I hurt every time I see that youngster try to run. Mark Ronan got his first hit of the College World Series his last time up, a single in the fourth. Two out, top of the sixth, tied at 4. In the air to center field, Audley coming hard. He'll never get to it. Base hit. So all of a sudden, Ronan finds the stroke.
Yeah, and the last time he got that base hit, Ron, Rao swung at the first pitch. He never gave Mike Martin a chance to get into a situation where Ronan could steal. Now here's a 2-out situation. I think you're going to see Rao take a couple pitches and see if this guy can't steal it. 42 of them on the year and get into scoring position.
Rocky's a junior from LaGrange, Texas.
See that move right there? That's a good move if you're a hitter. In fact, square around. A lot of veteran catchers will tell you square around and put that bat out into the plate and then drag it back. Kind of deceives you. It's perfectly legal. It kind of blinds the catcher for just an instant, and he can't come out of the chute quite as fast.
Runner is going.
Big jump. No chance. He can steal that standing up. You tell that guy 42 stolen bases on the year knows how to read a pitcher. He hasn't been to first base many times in this College World Series. Now 43 out of 48. But I mean, he took off as soon as Cedeno came. Looks in. He doesn't even have to slide. Wedge has no chance.
And it broke his belt.
Now look at the jump he's going to get right here. Look at the eyes of Ronan. He's guessing. See, he takes off right there. Cedeno still had time to go to first. Good guess by Ronan.
Stolen base number 43 for Ronan.
See, good base runners like that will sit on the bench. They'll watch all those throws we talk about to first base. They get a little timing device on the pitcher. They say, okay, he comes set and he counts to 2 or he counts to 3. Then when they get there, they take advantage of it.
2 outs. Ronan down at second. Rao, did he hold up? Nope, did not. Strike. Count is 1 and 2.
Rao from down your part of the country, that great junior college program. Sanjak. 22 new players on this Florida State team from the '87 College World Series team.
1-2 pitch. Back to Cedeno. And out of harm's way. So a base hit and then a stolen base by Ronan. But Wichita State gets away from it. We're still tied. Mears, Dreifert, and Jones.
That's him, isn't it?
You bet it is.
He's good.
I just love the way he parties. Do you know why Spuds McKenzie has so much fun at parties? Because he's always in control. And he knows how to make a party last. It takes good sense to have a good time. And Spuds knows it's cool to live by one simple rule. Know when to say when.
A reminder from Anheuser-Busch.
You've just discovered your car has a clear coat finish, which your ordinary wax just ruined. New Simonized non-abrasive wax won't scratch today's clear coat finishes, and that'll save you a lot of grief.
You know, a lot of people think a basketball player's life is very glamorous, or a coach's life in the NBA. Not true. It's no different than a 9-to-5 job for us, because that's what it is. We're working at a job.
The 1989 NCAA College World Series is in full swing in Omaha. Share in the excitement with the official souvenir program. The program contains information about the 8 competing teams, along with records and special features. To obtain your copy, send a check or money order for $6 to Programs, Post Office Box 1989, Lexington, Kentucky. 40593-1989. Please allow 4 to 6 weeks for delivery. This message furnished by the NCAA.
One of these ball clubs will gain the right to face the Texas Longhorns in the national championship game tomorrow, but still a ways from decision as we go bottom of the 6th and still tied at 4. Mears looks at a ball inside. Base hit to the right side, and the Shockers open up the 6th with a base hit.
Well, he's up there amongst them, Ron, the hitting leaders. You know, the Longhorns, they're hitting almost 400 as a team. And then Eric Wedge. But Pat Mears, quick bat speed for Wichita State. He's in the top 10 of the College World Series.
Texas in the first 4 positions came to Omaha with their hitting shoes on, and they have done that so far. Todd Dreifert, the right fielder, singled in the 2nd, flied out to center. Back in the 4th. Runner is going, and he'll have the stolen base. Good jump in the play by Mears.
Well, like Ronan, read the pitcher properly. Takes off right here. Now, this is a hit and run. That tells you it's not a steal. You see right there, Pat Mears looks in. Anytime you see the runner look in, that means he wants to pick up the ball. Breaking ball in the dirt. Grifol couldn't handle it.
Nobody out. Runner in scoring position as Dreifert steps out.
Of course, if he did, no chance to throw Mears out whatsoever at second base. Now these teams start to use that running game a little bit more.
Jim Needon in the Florida State bullpen. Bottom of the 6th inning, 4-4.
Dreifert's got one job to do right here. Now, first baseman Bob Raboyne had moved back a little bit. I don't think they feel Dreifert will bunt, but he's got one job, and that's to pull that ball on the ground to the right side. We talked about the importance of the short relievers. They manufacture a run this inning. We'll see Newland in the 7th. Would not surprise me.
Ron Franklin and Jim Cott from Omaha, Nebraska. Rosenblatt Stadium tied at 4. Bottom of the 6th inning. Runner at second base for Wichita State. And that is Pat Mears with nobody out. And what is at stake here? The winner plays for the national championship tomorrow afternoon, 1 o'clock Eastern time. Florida State, the #1 seed, had gone undefeated until 2 nights ago when this Wichita State club knocked them off 7-4. And now Mike Martin going to make a trip to the mound.
Well, he's got the left-hander Needon, who has strikeout capabilities, has a good knuckle curve. You know, Mike Martin is very aware of this being a 6- or 7-inning game. And he's looking at this right now, and out at a time. He's going to the left-hander.
You see Keller look up at him, no question. But simply that look in his eyes of I would like a little bit more of a chance, but he's not going to get it as Needon comes in for the bullpen.
Well, you know, with Needon, if he leaves Wentworth in, he's got another left-hand hitter. You know, this guy does not want to come out of this ball game. That's what Clyde Keller has on underneath his cap, that line from the natural. I came here to play ball. Hey, he's played some ball.
So Keller taken out here in the bottom of the 6th inning, tied at 4. We'll be right back.
It's just a pure and natural beer.
beers that are cold filtered, only one has that distinctively clean, crisp taste. Budweiser, cold filtered and Beechwood aged for over 110 years.
I'm Bob Lee. Sports Center right after the College World Series, the sizzling Astros. Do they have any more miracles left? The Belmont is tomorrow. Sharon Smith with a preview. And Michael Chang, the last American man left in Paris. Dan Patrick and I will see you at 11:30.
Thank you, Bob. Tied at 4. Nobody out, bottom of the 6th inning, and the new pitcher for the Seminoles of Florida State is a junior left-hander out of Los Angeles, California, Tim Needon.
A good knuckle curveball. That spiked curve that we talk about. 92 of those strikeouts in 78 innings, and that's why Mike Martin's bringing him in right here. You see, you got the left-hander in Dreifert. Now you have the right-hander Mike Jones. You can pitch carefully to him and get to Wentworth, or bring in the right-hander you have down to the bullpen. So Mike Martin has a few options, but he needs a strikeout right now. The next 3 hitters, he getting out of the bye. They can't wait to get a bat and get up there. They haven't seen much of this guy. They want to get a closer look at him. Pitched his junior college ball at College of the Canyons.
Todd Dreifert, the right fielder, will step back in with a count of 1-1. On deck is Mike Jones, and as Jim alluded to, Mike Wentworth, the designated hitter, who had a 3-run homer in his last time at bat. That was in the 4th inning. And it brought us to how we stand right now. Knotted at 4. Away from Grifol. Mears over to 3rd.
Well, that's major right there. That wild pitch or pass ball, whatever they call it. Fastball that gets away from Needon, because now you put a little heat on Mike Martin. You're going to bring your infield in with nobody out. See Grifol sitting outside. This ball comes out early. Well, he got a glove on it. They bring the infield in.
Base hit on the pulled-in infield. Right by Raboyne at first base. 5-4, Wichita State. Into second base is Dreifert.
Ball puts Florida State in a situation where they have to play the infield in. Dreifert does a good job of pulling the inside pitch, and with Raboyne playing in even with the bag, no chance to get this one.
Mike Jones, third baseman. Walked in the 2nd, singled in the 4th. Scored the 3rd run of the ball game, or came across as the 3rd run, and that home run by Wentworth. Hits now for the Shockers. Misses again, 3-0.
A little bit pumped up. Tim Needon, a little over pumped. He's got that kind of intensive attitude you like in a reliever, but he's not able to harness it. All of his pitches up and out of the strike zone.
Ricky Kimball, the ace reliever for the Seminoles. Base hit into the left field corner. Another run will score at 6-4, and down at second base is Mike Jones.
On a fastball, Mike Jones, and these guys can do that. They're used to seeing the off-speed stuff from Keller. When you hit over 300 as a team, you know you can handle good fastballs. Dreifert scores that 6th run, and now with a 2-run lead, and it's the infusion of energy from the guy coming to the plate right now really that enabled Wichita State to do this. Mike Whitworth. He's the guy they can thank for it.
Back-to-back doubles. Brady Neaton lays down the bunt. Runner will advance to third, and they get the first out of the inning over at first as Wentworth sacrifices.
He can do more than hit a home run. I mean, you think about his home run totals. 2 this year that we've mentioned. He's only got 4 in his career. And the other 2 were right here in Rosenblatt Stadium when they played Creighton. Now, once again, the Seminoles have to bring that infield in. Boy, great game right there by that young man. Mike Whitworth. Got to play the infield in. Can't give him another run.
Mike Jones is the base runner at third base. As the top of the order, Jim Audley comes to the plate. A couple of strikeouts tonight, got on by way of an error in the fourth. Mike Martin to the mound, and he's already given the signal. He wants Ricky Kimball out of the bullpen.
Well, he's got to play this game, Ron, like it's a save situation, because he knows Jim Newland is down in that Wichita State bullpen.
Exactly. One of the things that Jim Cott talked about off the top of the telecast, the 2 great stoppers out of the pen, Kimball for Florida State and Newland for Wichita State. So the Shockers have scored a couple here in the 6th. We still have only 1 out. We're going to take a break. We'll come back in just a moment.
My athlete's foot kept flaring up. I'd put it out, and it'd just flare up again. Then my doctor told me about Tinactin. It cures recurring athlete's foot. Use it regularly, and it'll keep the fire from coming back.
Tinactin puts the fire out for good.
I sure have a lot of fun getting this thing dirty on the weekend. We both have to go to work on Monday. Come on, boy. I don't know where I'd be without Armor All Car Wash. It's great because it doesn't strip off the wax. And how about this cleaner? It gets all the crud off, and it's great for the interior.
Armor All Car Wash and Armor All Car Cleaner. They do what household products can't, because we're crazy about cars, too.
It's not a car, it's a truck.
6-4. Shockers have pulled on top.
Well, and if they win it, Ron, that's the guy they're going to be rallying around and bobbing. Boy, don't you know there's some pleasant thoughts going through that young man's mind. Senior walk-on out of Canton, New York. Doesn't get a chance to play much. 3-run dinger, sacrifice bunt. I don't blame you. I'd have a smile on my face, too.
The new pitcher for the Seminoles, Ricky Kimball. 5-2, 9 saves, 2.98 the ERA. What can you tell us about him, Jim?
Well, Ricky Kimball, 9 for 9 in saves. Just a sophomore. I think a guy that Mike Martin had penciled in as a starter, but has proved that he has the mentality and the pitches to be a good closer. Good strikeout per inning ratio, and also base on balls low. So his job right here, 1 of 2 things. He's got to have a strikeout, or he's got to get a ground ball and give him a chance to cut this run down at the plate. You give Wichita State a 3-run lead going into the 7th inning, they've never lost this year.
Cedeno still pitching well, and of course they have Newland to come out of the pen. There's your runner at third base.
And here's
That's
where
Mike Jones, who doubled.
Excuse me, Ron. Here's where also you got to be very alert for the squeeze play. Safety squeeze.
Audley with a 1-0 count. 1 out, bottom of the 6th inning. Shockers have broken the tie. They lead by 2.
Hey, Ricky Kimball's doing him a favor right here, winding up. He goes into the wind-up position. It just gives him a much better opportunity to try to squeeze a run in. As the runner on third, obviously, get a better jump.
Any time coming in with a couple of strikes. Jones with his lead off third. To Audley down low, and it's even at 2. missed, and a huge one. Kimball comes out of the bullpen and gets the first man he faces 88 miles an hour.
Ricky Kimball says, hey, I get a little more heat on my fastball when I work from the windup, and I need a strikeout, so that's what he does. And the Wichita State hitters have not seen fastballs like that so far tonight. Big contrast after Clyde Keller. That was 88 miles an hour.
First strikeout for Kimball, 5th for the staff. Strike on the outside corner. Jim, in fact, that's the first strikeout since back in the 2nd inning for the Seminole pitching. Six to 4. Wichita State now on 10 hits. 2 out, bottom of the 6th. Griffold sets up outside and a breaking pitch, and it fooled Fulton.
See that good breaking ball right there, Ron, and P.J. Forbes, not a power hitter. Look at the outfield defense for Florida State. Way too deep, especially in right field. Chris Brock giving P.J. Forbes too much room to drop in a little soft single there.
Center field. Brock is over a couple of steps, makes the catch for the 3rd out. Wichita State breaks the tie with a couple of runs in the bottom of the 6th inning. 6 to 4. Shockers on top. Griffold, Raboyne, and Gilliland.
This summer, whatever you do, wherever you go, Coca-Cola Classic will be there. It's the one soft drink enjoyed 5 million more times every day than any other. It's America's favorite under the sun. Summer and Coca-Cola Classic.
Can't beat the real thing. Can't beat the feeling.
A few words on reading for success.
Things are happening so fast right now that the business magazines are history. I need relevant information every day.
Today's Wall Street Journal. Faster, tougher, smarter. Call 800-372-3000 for this special Journal offer. 12 weeks, just $29.75 with a money-back guarantee. Call 800-372-3000 now for the Wall Street Journal.
It's the ultimate test of racing endurance. Saturday, see the spectacular start. And Sunday, the dramatic conclusion of the 24 Hours of Le Mans. Live on ESPN.
If you don't like the looks of your car, shoot it with Son of a Gun from STP. Shoot the dash, seats, tires, and roof. Son of a Gun protecting. Man, what a difference.
Great years for ESPN here at Omaha in the College World Series, Rosenblatt Stadium. And a reminder that tomorrow afternoon, the championship game, the winner of this one will face Texas. That game on CBS, 1 o'clock Eastern time. Griffold, the catcher, got on at a fielder's choice in the 2nd, flied out to left field in the 5th. Pat Cedeno should have a little easier feeling on the mound, if that's possible, in this pressure ball game, but his teammates getting him a couple of lead runs.
He's an out at a time right now. Jim Newland going to go down to the bullpen. This is the bottom of the 9th inning as far as Florida State is concerned. If they don't score right here, nobody else has been able to score off Newland except Griffold's solo home run.
Game summary so far: 10 hits and 2 errors for Wichita State. Keller 5 innings, 5 earned runs. Cedeno 3 earned runs, and Wentworth with the big blast over the right field fence. Came in the 4th inning.
A nice feeling to know you got Jim Newland down there. Make you a little more aggressive pitcher.
Cedeno with the 1-2 pitch.
Dale Williams says no swing.
Trying to see if he could get the freshman to chase one outside. High for ball 3.
Well, there's the ace of the bullpen, Jim Newland, right there. Hasn't even gone to the bullpen yet. Don't get him in the first 6, you don't get him.
And he's one of the primary reasons. I think if Grifol gets a leadoff walk, you're going to see Jim Newland in that bullpen in a hurry, though. Strike 3 brings him up. Strikeout number 3 for Pat Cedeno.
Well, and one of the things as Jim Newland trots down to the bullpen that both Greg Brummett and Pat Cedeno do well, when they get ahead of hitters with the good breaking ball, uncanny ability to stick the fastball on the outside corner. A lot of strikeouts on that fastball on the outside edge.
Top of the order, Bob Roboyne. Grounded out in the first, flat out in the second, and also in the 5th, and is greeted by a strike.
Well, he's got it in gear right now, Pat Cedeno. See a little more emotion coming out of that young man. He's pumped. It's like the 9th inning for him.
Two pitch misses outside.
You know, what Gene Stevenson would like to be able to do with Jim Newland. Might not have the luxury of doing it. You just got a 2-run game, but he wants to win the championship. He'd also like to have him available to close it out tomorrow. So every out very critical right now to that team.
Greg Brummett in the right of your screen charting the pitches tonight. Should Wichita State win, he's the scheduled starter for tomorrow, the championship game.
Brummett experienced the same thing that Clyde Keller did. Outstanding game against Arkansas in the first start, came back in the second start, found it wasn't quite as easy that second time. Still won the game, but not quite as sharp.
2-2 pitch. Second batter in a row that he's gone full on. To the left side. Mike Jones for the second out. It's the 100th pitch of the ball game by Pat Cedeno on that second out of the 7th.
I'll tell you right now, he wouldn't care if it's 180. He knows this is the last start of the year for him. Still trying to find out if he got drafted and who drafted him. He'll stay out there all night if he has to, but he won't have to with the horse he's got in the bullpen.
Ryan Gilliland with 2 out in the 7th inning. Walked a couple of times tonight and also flied out to the shortstop.
Newland kind of turn around and have a little communication with Jones right now. Very aware of this young man's bunting ability. Rather Cedeno.
Pitch misses outside. Oddly in center field, shading him to left center. Look at it right there in the way they're playing. The two fielders are in about regulation.
The wedge conference on the mound accomplishing 2 things. Cedeno was in such a great rhythm. just a little overhyped right now. Wedge trying to calm him down. It also gives Newland a little extra time to loosen that arm down in the bullpen.
2 out top of the 7th. Wichita State leading by 2, 6-4. Seminoles have 5 hits in the ball game. Strike. Jones at third base has it for the 3rd out, and the Seminoles go in order in the 7th inning. As we head to the bottom half, it's the Shockers by 2. It will be McDonald, Wedge, and Winslow.
Manager of KZSN Radio.
On Kissin' 102 FM, to play continuous country favorites, we have to make winning real easy. Our prize vault's always open, full of cash, cars, a new home, and now free money songs. Yes, thousands of dollars to win when Kissin' plays free money songs. Details on Rick Edwards' More Country Music Morning Show, including when free money songs play, doubling your winnings, even how to cheat. The easiest winning and the most country music allowed by law on KZSN, Kissin' 102 FM.
Take a new look at your financial future with Wichita Federal Savings. Here you'll find modern, efficient facilities with helpful, professional people, eager to show you everything from checking plans to investments, and the ways and means to realize your goals with personal, home equity, and mortgage loans. You'll also find fast drive-up lanes, quick teller lines, all at convenient locations. For more than half a century, we've been serving Wichita, and we'd like to serve you. At Wichita Federal Savings, we're all about money.
Shockers got a pair in the bottom of the 6th inning, and that's how we stand right now. Bottom of the 7th.
Well, and Ron, a lot of people have made this College World Series successful. There's some of them right there. Dennis Pope, director of men's championships for the NCAA, sitting next to the man pointing his finger there in the box seats. The whole NCAA, the entire baseball committee, Jim Wright and his NCAA media staff, they've all made, as they do every year, a successful and pleasant experience here in Omaha.
Mike McDonald will lead it off in the bottom of the 7th. I was talking to Denny Pope just prior to the ball game. He's the guy who probably the weatherman knows on a first-name basis here in Omaha, because it's his job to stay on top of it. And they don't just call once or twice a day. It's like hourly, particularly when you got threatening situations. Left field, and that one is off the base of the fence. McDonald heading for 2 as the throw comes back in, and it's a lead double here in the 7th.
I tell you, this team has made some kind of turnaround since Gene Stevenson has put Mike McDonald in the 3-hole. Knows he's going to get more fastballs to hit. Ricky Kimball, fastball pitcher, he rips this one. Parker has no chance. 20 home runs on the season, and that kind of swing will tell you why. Wait, have these guys come a long way since that shocking loss last year? They're going to walk Eric Wedge with nobody out in first base open.
And Mike Martin making a sensationally smart move, because Wedge...
You talk about the guys in that dugout right there. Right? Think about what they went through last year, being 1 strike from getting to the game that about 2 innings from now they have a chance to get to that championship game. Eric Wedge. Now they're missing Mike Lansing, Jeff Bonaquista. Winslow's injured. Talked about how they played with emotion. And then they get the leadership and the production from a senior walk-on like Mike Wentworth. Talk about the nice stories at the College World Series. That entire team is a nice story, the way they've turned it around from last year.
So many pieces of the puzzle have fallen together for them. And this guy right here we have talked about in every ball game. Brian Winslow playing with a stress fracture in his right leg, but has continued to be in the lineup, but not just to be penciled in, has contributed in every outing. squares to bunt. Throw is going to go to third, and they got him. As Winslow was late running, he thought it was a foul ball, and they got the lead runner. McDonald is out at third.
Yeah, a little mental error right there in the part of Rob Vargas. Of course, he had to concentrate on the low throw. Winslow thinks maybe that ball's foul. Good play by Grifol. Jumps out, low throw. Now, Vargas has all the time in the world to get Winslow, but he's concerned about the guy on second.
Now you look at the move that Mike Martin made. And it was extremely right in the fact that Winslow, not merely the runner down at first base, he's the man that they wanted to sacrifice. Wedge moves now to second, and there's one out. Mears has singled his last 2 times up and has scored a couple of runs. Down at second, the catcher Eric Wedge. Bryant Winslow is at first. Seventh inning, 1 out. Wichita State 6-4. Runners at first and second.
He didn't get the sacrifice he wanted from Winslow. Mears been swinging the bat well. Good time to put the hit and run on if you want to stay out of that double play. Story, that young man right there. Normally a third baseman asked to fill in at shortstop for the injured Lansing.
Asked for the appeal, did not go around, and the bases are full.
Now, Mike Martin thought first of all it was a good pitch, and did he go around? Ooh, I think he got by with one right there. Of course, that's first base umpire Dale Williams' call on the appeal, and he said no.
Bases are loaded for Todd Dreifert, the right fielder. He smashed a double his last time up, scoring Mears, who had singled, stolen second, and moved to third on the pass ball. 6-4. Shockers on top. 1 out, bottom of the 7th.
Now they can't really afford, they being the Seminoles, to give up another run right here, but yet Mike Martin playing Gilliland and Rao at double play depth. Confident that Kimball can get a ground ball. You know, if you don't get a ground ball hit well enough, you're going to surrender that run. Well enough to turn to. You get one of those choppers on the infield. That's the gamble you play right here.
Dreifert steps out again.
Kimball and Grifol a little out of sync. That's another problem when you have the signs sent in from the bench. Grifol having trouble getting the signs from Mike Martin.
Fouled off, and he works in front, does Kimball. 0-2.
Nice pitch, Hammer.
Hey, throw what you want, he says.
Still looking over at the bench. Sets up on the outside corner.
That's where you know, you keep it simple, but right now they're making it so complicated. Pedro Grifol having a little trouble getting the signs, but Martin held up the hands. I think they want the fastball like 6 inches to a foot outside on this 0-2 pitch.
You're exactly right.
Well, see, you can sit up here. You watch these guys give those signs for a while. You can pick them up. If I was hitting in the other dugout, I'd pay close attention to that.
With the 1-2 on the ground, knocked down, but not enough by Raboyne. 1 run will score. They send the second to the plate, cut off, and it is an 8-4 ball game. Raboyne got a piece of it, but couldn't knock it down completely.
You play him in at the corners and back at second and short, hoping to get the ground ball. But Dreifert, who's been doing a good job all night of pulling the fastball, gets it off Raboyne's glove. And Mr. Dreifert enjoying that 2-run single.
Todd Dreifert now with his 3rd base hit of the night. Single, double, single. Of RBIs there as the Shockers go on top 8-4. Runners at the corners with 1 down. Breaking pitch for a strike.
Few smiles now on that Wichita State bench and on the faces of their players, something we weren't able to see about this time last year in Omaha.
Pitch out, nothing going for the Shockers.
No smile on that man's face. Went on record as saying this is the one thing he wanted more than anything except health and happiness was this NCAA championship. He's had great success the last 10 years during the regular season.
Gets away from Grifol. Mears coming to the plate. He'll score the 9th run of the game for the Shockers.
Kind of coming unglued right now for the Seminoles. Battery's been out of sync all night long, all inning long. Kimball and Grifol. And you see Grifol right there, usually fundamentally a good catcher, but palms down he tries to catch that ball. You know, the ball's below the waist, you catch it with the palms up. And Pedro just kind of swats at that one underneath the glove.
Pitch has been charged on the play. Wichita State increases their lead to 5, 9-4. Down to second with Dreifert. Ball 4.
And here's kind of a bonus at bat that our hero can enjoy tonight. Mike Wentworth. 5-run cushion. Brady begins to loosen in the Florida State bullpen. Getting to that point right now, I'm sure Mike Martin just giving some of his guys a little College World Series experience, because when the Shockers lead this late in the game, even by 1 run, they don't lose. In a 5-run lead with Jim Newland, nobody's ever overcome that with him in the bullpen.
Grifol calls time and comes walks to the mound to talk with Ricky Kimball as Wentworth looks at a pitch way outside.
So we get to see, Ron, an exact reversal of what we saw last year, where the Shockers were in the winner's bracket. Had a chance to go straight to the championship game. They didn't do it. They ended up losing on Friday night. Arizona State went to play Stanford. Now it looks like they'll turn it completely around. Not good numbers against Wichita State in the last two games. Right now, just game out of hand, really just overthrowing. Not a situation he's used to being in, and I would think they'd even get him out of there rather quickly.
Grafal goes back to the mound. Nobody has moved in the dugout, but they keep looking over at Mike Martin. Ron Franklin and Jim Cott. Hope you're enjoying tonight's game from Omaha, Nebraska. This national semifinal game. Elimination between the Seminoles and the Shockers. Winner of this plays against Texas for the national championship tomorrow. Look at that crowd. Tonight's attendance, 15,667. And now Mike Martin is out of the dugout.
Yeah, you use this guy to save games, Ricky Kimball, and right now this game is kind of out of hand. There's no need in wasting your ace any longer than this. See some semblance of a smile on Mike Martin's face right there, knowing this baby's about gone. In these extra runs, what it's doing for Gene Stevenson is now Jim Newland sits down with a jacket on, and if he wants to bring in, that man Gene Stevenson wants to bring in one of his middle relievers, he can do that.
So let's take a timeout. 9-4. Shockers lead. We'll be back with more.
What do you have?
Give me 2 pizza puffs, chili dog.
Excuse me. Gus. 1 minute. Sorry.
Give me 2 pizza puffs, a chili dog, a large.
Hey, Lord. Gus, I told you, to be hot dog kings, we need lots of Bud Light. Not Bull Blood?
If you want the one light that outshines them all, ask for Bud Light.
Now what do you think? It's beautiful.
Because everything else is just a light.
Hey, what about my pizza puffs?
You're looking sharp. You're looking good. You've come so far. And we know how to make the most of who you are. Father to son. It's what we've always done.
The Gillette Atra Plus system with the Lubra Smooth strip for the best a man can get.
Sports Center after the game. The first place Cubs run into a gem from Jose De Leon. Youth is served in the finals at the French Open. And in the Sky Dome, the Jays looking for a victory. Highlights, Dan Patrick and I, right after the game. We'll see you there.
Thanks, Bob Lee. Wichita State by 5. Bottom of the 7th, 1 out, and the new pitcher, Mike Brady.
Well, and Ron, some more people that make this stay so pleasant here in Omaha. Terry Forsberg and Jesse Cuevas right here at Rosenblatt Stadium. Keep this stadium in excellent condition. In fact, all the great people of Omaha, Nebraska make this a great week, and we thank them.
The base runners down at second is Todd Dreifert, and at first is Mike Jones. Misses, ball 4. Jim, to back up what you were talking about as far as the fine people of this city, all of us, the crew, you, myself, we always look forward to coming to Omaha, Nebraska.
Yeah, it's a great experience. You know, a lot of cities seem to try to get their bids in and like to host this thing. It's been here now for 40 years, and can't imagine anyone doing a better job.
No, I can't either. Wentworth down to first with the walk. And back to the top of the order. It It is Jim Audley.
You know, we've talked about the big guns in the Wichita State lineup, but as a pitcher, you know, if you don't shut down that bottom third, you let those guys get away. And what have they done tonight, those bottom three guys in the Wichita State lineup?
6 of 8, 7 RBIs in the bottom third. Might have to look at a situation of players of the game as far as the Shockers are concerned tonight.
Well, we've seen this happen 2 nights in a row with Texas blowing out LSU last night, even though LSU staged a little late comeback. But now tonight it gives Gene Stevenson the luxury of not having to bring in Jim Newland. Well, you could keep him down there. He's done a little bit of throwing. Nice luxury to have him ready for tomorrow.
1-2 the count. Off the fist, fouls it off to the right side. If you joined us late, Clyde Keller started tonight, went 5. Was relieved by Needon. He went 1/3. Then Ricky Kimball for 1, and now Mike Brady. 4th hurler for the Seminoles tonight. Clyde Keller standing back behind his teammates. In the dugout is the pitch rights high, and it's even at 2. Mike Brady, a junior, Jacksonville, Florida. Just over the glove of Gilliland. 1 run will score. They wave the second man home, Mike Jones, and he will score. Raffole can't hold on to the throw. It is 11-4 Shockers.
Well, 11-4, infield in. Now that's all come apart for Florida State. 2-run score and a 7-run bulge. And the Shockers, though, coming into this game hitting well about 100 points below their team average. Parker's throw to home plate right there. Just a little bit offline and late, but now showing us why they're that team that's hit over 300 as a team during the season. And a little emotion there by Dreifert, Forbes, Mike Jones.
Pinch runner at second is Wilson. Joey Wilson, the pinch runner, replacing Mike Wentworth. Runner down at first is Jim Audley. Yeah, the ball that Audley hit would have been a very easy out for the shortstop, Gilliland, but pulled in. You saw him give a great effort trying to get up high enough to catch it just over his outstretched glove.
Now, we talked about this being the best 2 out of 3, and what better matchup could you have in a situation like that with 2 coaches who have been as successful as any coaches in college baseball the last 4 years. Both are among those 4 that reached 500 wins in the first 2 years. Both amongst the top 5 in winning percentage. Gene Stevenson right there with his team about to win their 67th game. Mike Martin, 10 years of 50 wins.
Count is even at 2 with 1 out, bottom of the 7th. Wichita State 11-4, and the Shockers were down 4-1 after 2 innings. P.J. Forbes swings and misses. He was the 9th batter to come to the plate for the Shockers in the 7th.
Yeah, the committee's got to feel good. We mentioned the NCAA committee with the seeding. You know, you could make a case for any of these top 4 teams for sure being the #1 seed in this tournament. Texas, Miami, who has been eliminated, and Wichita State or Florida State. They all have the credentials to be the #1 seed.
To the left side. They're going to bring Joey Wilson to the plate. Here comes the throw, and he is out. So the man who started it all with a double, Mike McDonald, gets his 2nd base hit of the inning. But as they bring Wilson home, this is what happened.
Well, I tell you, he's starting to rip that fastball. Positive sign for Wichita State going into tomorrow's game. Good throw right on the money to Grifol, sweep tag, and they stop the bleeding.
So let's take a break. A 7-run lead for the Shockers. We go to the top of the 8th.
Ortho, air conditioners, pressure
Builder Square. We buy by the trainload. Direct from top manufacturers. There's no middleman, no frills, no membership fees. And at Builder Square, we won't be undersold. Ever. Builder Square, where the values keep rolling on. Because the more we sell, the lower the price.
Budweiser and Bud Light are joining USA Today so you can vote for the All-Stars. Pick up an official All-Star fan ballot free wherever you buy Bud and Bud Light. Then enter the All-Star Pick-a-Pair Trivia Sweepstakes. Answers appear every day in USA Today, your #1 source for sports coverage. So look for this display and vote.
ESPN's presentation of the 1989 NCAA College World Series from Omaha has been brought to you by Wilson Sporting Goods. Wilson, the official ball of the 1989 College World Series. By Bud Light. Everything else is just a light. And by Olympus, makers of 35mm cameras and video. Ron Franklin and Jim Cott from Omaha, Nebraska. Top of the 8th inning, and the Shockers have broken this one open after trailing 4-1.
Well, we've had a lot of help from some nice people here, as we do every year round. Right up here in the booth, we were able to give you the current stats and figures. Dave Dare, our spotter. Statisticians Tom Pirro, Kevin Sarver. We thank them for their help. The Levy brothers, Mark and Jay, stage managers. Hey, Gene Stevenson says, taking no chances. Got Jim Newland cranking it up with a 7-run lead. A little extra juice on that fastball right now for Pat Cedeno. Certainly don't want to leave out our support staff, Dave Frederick and the support staff. And what a crew we have here. The camera guys, guys in the truck, technical crew. Give you those pictures.
The tech guys have been sensational. The great pictures and all the great work that they have done, that 110%, and guys, it is greatly appreciated. You make everybody look awfully good as Vargas goes down on the strikeout.
And the guys that make our job a little bit easier, the coaches and the SIDs from all the schools, cooperate, appreciate their help.
I don't think anybody realizes the numbers as far as the stats and everything. Game may end at close to midnight, but the numbers have got to be updated and into the morning meetings by 9, 10 o'clock. It's not easy. Fourth strikeout of the game for Cedeno. Out there with a 7-run lead right now and an 0-1 count on Buddy Cribb.
A nice effort by Pat Cedeno. You know, some shaky going in that second inning, but hung right in there, got that big 3-run bolt from Mike Wentworth. And you could see him, you know, a lot of guys, they get that lead. They don't take that same aggressive approach like Cedeno has.
On the ground to the shortstop. Mears can't grab it. Picked up by P.J. Forbes. And down at first is Cribb. I think they'll give him a base hit on that.
Yeah, he's going to make him earn it. Buddy Cribb, good fastball hitter, but 7-run lead. Cedeno says, go ahead, have a rip at it. Take my chances.
Cribb, it's his second base hit of the night. In fact, he scored the first run of the evening for Florida State.
23, Dean Harrison. Harrison, now batting for Brock.
Pinch hitter for Brock is Harrison.
Well, it should be quite a matchup tomorrow. A school with all that tradition, the Texas Longhorns, who in the last 5 years won the championship back in '83, had cracks at it in '84 and '5. They were here again in '87 and just missed. And now a school tomorrow, Ron, that has never played for a national championship in any sport, Wichita State. And it looks like they're going to get that chance.
And Jim, if that game tomorrow is not a one-run game, we will have set one thing that's going to go all the way back since the 40 years here in Omaha. No one-run games in this entire College World Series. That's never happened before.
Yeah, sure shows you what we know about this game. We've been hyping up all the good pitching and the tight games.
Harrison looks at a ball down low. He's a sophomore. Margate, New Jersey, his home. 6'1", 200 pounds.
Yeah, this is one of those last couple innings where, hey, let's get the kids a little College World Series experience and just let them go home and say, I had my at-bat, pitched an inning.
Fouls it off to the left side, right up here close to us.
We've had a smooth operation here this week, and Ron Semio is our operations producer. He's made that all possible. Thanks to Ron.
11-4 if you're just joining us. Top of the 8th inning, 1 out. Florida State trailing Wichita State. The Shockers now with 14 base hits. Greg Brummett, well, he is the starter for tomorrow in the championship game, unless the Seminoles get lightning to strike.
And those are MVP numbers we saw up there. 2-0 and a 1.84 ERA. You know, there has been no clear-cut player that has had the kind of series. If Dressendorfer were starting tomorrow again for Texas, you'd say, well, okay, there's two guys with 2-0. Kirk Dressendorfer coming off 6 innings last night, probably be called on late in the game if necessary, but Scott Bryant will start that game for Texas.
3-2 count on Dean Harrison. Pinch hitter looks at a ball outside, and he gets a pass. So the Seminoles with runners at first and second.
Yeah, he's disgusted with himself. Senior right-hander. Big lead, trying to keep the bullpen out of there. The last thing he wanted to do was a base on balls. Brent Chemnitz, the pitching coach, coming out to have a little chat with him. You know, Ron, I get a chance to, I love the game of baseball. I get a chance to cover it a lot during the season. But our producer, Freddie Gadelli, and director, Mark Payton, I don't think anybody does it any better than those two guys.
For sure.
We thank them for the job they do. They make it a lot of fun up here in the booth.
And that's the key right there. I mean, they seek perfection, but we do have a lot of fun, and you have to when you spend this many hours together over a...
If they're seeking it, they're still going to be looking for it when this week's over with.
I don't know if it's true, but there's a rumor around the crew that Fred Gadelli, the producer, will rehearse his trip before he leaves tomorrow. Brad Parker, the left fielder. Fly into deep left field. Way back, and it is out of here. An 11-7 ball game. Hang on. Cedeno, and that picture tells it all right there. As the Seminole says, hey, we're not dead yet.
We saw a little late thunder from LSU last night. That game appeared to be out of hand with Kirk Dressendorfer in control. Cedeno, and it's not the long ball that causes him some anguish this inning. It's that walk that got away. And now Brad Parker's home run, a 3-run shot. Big lead, fastball right down the chute. 15th of the year for Parker. Can't believe it. Yep. Now, it wasn't the long ball, it's the base on balls.
Single walk and now a home run, and the Seminoles cut that 7-run lead back to 4.
In fact, all series long, really, it's not been the home run. It's been the high number of walks that has caused the runs. Over 90 walks, and now over a third of them have scored.
Jim Newland, who has been an extremely busy man for the Shockers throughout the College World Series, will come in relief with 1 out in the top of the 8th inning. And Jim, the guy he's going to face, was hitless into the ball game tonight, but Mark Ronan has gotten the stroke going tonight. So the story is not completely told. Let's take a break. We'll be back in just a moment.
With a blade that stays rigid to over 7 feet, the Lufkin XL33 measuring tape is more than just the longest tape you may ever need. It is literally the most outstanding. The Lufkin XL33 measuring tape from Cooper Tools. The difference between work and workmanship.
How do you spot a MetLife representative? He's intelligent and knowledgeable, concerned and caring, friendly and ready to listen. A big nose and floppy ears are optional. Thank you. Get Met. It pays.
One out, top of the 8th inning, and some lightning off the bat of Brad Parker. A 3-run homer after Krivitz singled, and then a walk to pinch hitter Dean Harrison. And we have an 11-7 ball game. That's the 7th hit of the night for the Seminoles.
Well, and if it were a closer game, but certainly Newland doesn't want it any closer, he'd have a chance to set the College World Series save record. He has 3 already. This is not a save situation. 4-run lead with 1 out in the 8th. Newland probably looks upon it as a redemption situation. He was the pitcher on the mound last year when Arizona State staged that miraculous comeback. Well, when they got the winning run, actually, in the 10th inning.
Mark Ronan. Couple of base hits tonight. In fact, has been on base 3 times. Reached on an error in the 2nd.
Well, we started out in this game with a couple of off-speed pitchers. Keller relying on the palm ball. Cedeno with a mixture of pitches. But now you're going to see a fastball above 90 and a very sharp late-breaking slider. And a little unusual motion that helps make this guy effective.
Kind of cocks it behind his head, doesn't he? Base hit to left center field for Ronan. 3 for 3 on the night. And the best base runner for the Seminoles down at first base with only 1 down.
Well, they shut him down for the first 3 games, but Mark Ronan is a 300 hitter over the whole year. So you know you're not going to shut him down the whole series. A little more signs of life now in that dugout.
Beavis, the pinch hitter for Rocky Rao. In the postseason, 3 for 5, 600. 264 on the season.
Now with his speed right now, a little push bunt down the first baseline would get.
Swings away, headed for the gap in right center. That may score the run. Ronan can run, and they're waving him. Throw to third, and it's a stand-up triple for Beavis. 11-8.
Athletic director Hootie Ingram from Florida State likes that. Yeah, here's a little push bunt down to first base line, about 390 feet. I mean, Beavis is second on the team in stolen bases with 25. But no home run power. Couldn't tell that to Jim Newland. He drives Todd Dreifert back to the wall with that Newland fastball. Ronan scores, and Beavis gets the third easily. We got a ball game again.
You bet we do, with only one out in the top of the 8th inning, and Gene Stevenson showing the palms up. 9 base hits for the Seminoles. Grafol. As the pitch comes inside, now it was Grafol who took him downtown in a big way.
Yeah, and you try not to let your previous at-bat, if it's a bad one, or your previous appearance affect you as a pitcher, but you know Newland's got to be thinking about that right now.
Was that a message pitch, or did he just lose it himself? Comes back with a pitch away, and it takes the count even at 1. Gendron and Bluma up and working in the Shocker bullpen. Top of the 8th inning, 1 out, runner at third. And for Florida State, they have come up with 4 runs in the top of the inning.
Going to see many times when Jeff Newland's on the mound where they have to get somebody up in the bullpen.
Alan Beavis down to third as Grafol steps out. He saw the first pitch inside. Look at Beavis. And then the next 2 away. And that's the count, 2-1. To the right side. Second baseman Forbes for the second out, and Beavis scores from third. It is 11-8. 11-9, I beg your pardon. 11-9 as Beavis scores.
Well, they've given themselves a chance going to the 9th inning, even if they don't score any more this inning, just by taking advantage of a little wildness by Pat Cedeno and the 3-run homer. Just give yourself a chance in the 9th inning, and they'll have the middle of the batting order.
Bob Raboyne looking for his first base hit of the night. He is the 8th Seminole to come to the plate in the 8th inning.
The big cushion came in, throwing mostly fastballs. You saw the hits. Clyde Keller giving his team a little encouragement. You saw the hits on the fastball. Now Newland is saying, hey, it's getting a little serious. He's going back to that quick slider.
0-2 pitch. You can see Raboyne squared around, but ready for most anything. Just trying to get aluminum on the ball, not wanting to be the third out and keep this rally alive, as the Seminoles have scored 5 runs on 4 hits. Throw a walk in there. A 3-run homer by Brad Parker. Nail-biting time here at Rosenblatt Stadium. Down low for a ball.
They might have heard you, those players, when you said there hasn't been a 1-run game. They're going to make this a 1-run game.
2-2 the count, 2 out. Raboyne into right field, Dreifert for the 3rd out of the inning. But the Seminoles cut it to within 2. And we head to the bottom half of the 8th inning. 11-9, Shockers on top.
Have you ever asked what's your best price on a new car and never got an answer? That won't happen with Ford Man. Ford Man has tagged every new Rusty Eck Ford car and truck with Rusty's best price. No need to shop. No need to ask. Just find the car you want at Rusty Eck Ford and you'll see Rusty's best price clearly tagged for all to see. 200 cars and trucks must be sold at Rusty's best price. No dealers, brokers, or wholesalers, please. The yellow tag sale ends soon, so hurry to Rusty Eck Ford, the home of Ford Man.
A new look at your financial future with Wichita Federal Savings. Here you'll find modern, efficient facilities with helpful, professional people, eager to show you everything from checking plans to investments, and the ways and means to realize your goals with personal, home equity, and mortgage loans. You'll also find fast drive-up lanes, quick teller lines, all at convenient locations. For more than half a century, we've been serving Wichita, and we'd like to serve you. At Wichita Federal Savings, we're all about money.
10 years for ESPN at the College World Series in Omaha, Nebraska. And tonight, in what had looked at a time as though might be a blowaway in this national semifinal game, not so. The Seminoles didn't get here by rolling over and playing dead, and they come up with 5 in the top of the 8th, and we have a 2-run game. 9 runs and 9 hits, 1 error, 11 runs, 14 hits, 2 errors for the Shockers. Eric Wedge, the catcher for the Shockers, comes up. He was walked intentionally back at the 7th.
Mike Brady, the left-hander, now with a chance to work through the 4, 5, 6 guys, get them out of the way, give your team a chance to win the game. 3 big outs for him.
Working in front on Wedge, 0-2.
And he knows what that's all about. He worked 5 2/3 innings of scoreless relief when the Seminoles came back and beat Clemson 8-1 in the regional.
Strike 3 called on Wedge. 1 gone in the bottom of the 8th inning. Defensive changes. Dean Harrison goes to right field for Florida State. Alan Beavis goes to second.
A little good morning, good afternoon, and now good night to Eric Wedge. Fastball inside edge to Wedge. Can't believe it.
Brian Winslow, 0 for 4 tonight, has scored once. That was last inning. The Shockers came up on 5 runs, 3 hits.
This kid's got a good breaking ball and a nice quick tempo.
We've talked about that throughout the series. Your infielders and outfielders love it also. I think it keeps you on your toes rather than someone who's reticent to get rid of it back to home plate. In the air to right field. Harrison sizes it for the 2nd out of the inning.
You know, Ron, we've been able to show a lot of stats on players and how do we get that stuff together so quickly. More help down there in the truck. We certainly want to thank you. In the great openings to our shows, Jeff Gowan, the producer, Phil Orleans has helped us out down there, Cornelius Harris, Mark Grant, Mark Huska, and Bob Steinfeld, who's produced some of the games here. We certainly thank all of them for their help.
2 down, bottom of the 8th inning. Pat Mears got a couple of base hits tonight, has scored 3 times. Fouls it off, and he's in front 0-2. Mike Brady has come in and done a really good job for the Seminoles. To left field. It is out of here. An 0-2 pitch for a home run. Pat Mears.
You talk bat speed in Wichita State's hitters. Yes, Wedge and McDonald have the most home runs, but no more bat speed as you see the head butts there than Pat Mears. That's an 0-2 fastball inside edge, and he turns on it. Now, that doesn't answer all 5 of those runs in the top of the 8th, but it is a big run. Just to kind of give Wichita State a little something positive going back out in the field. Frustration by that young left-hander.
Did you see one of the guys who was out there that was lancing?
Doing a little head-butting?
Doing a little head-butting. They don't have a full complement of players as far as the regulations of the NCAA tournament. So Lansing is dressed and listed as one of the team managers. That's the reason he's down on the bench, although he's not able to play. Breaking ball misses. Pat Mears now is third base hit, and he scored 4 runs in this game tonight. That makes it 12-9. 15 hits for the Shockers.
Those that missed the early games in the College World Series, the Lansing we're referring to, Mike Lansing, their regular shortstop, second leading hitter on the team, hitting .366, 43 stolen bases, very important member of this team.
Down low for ball 4.
And to think that they have done what they have done without him and Bonaquista makes them going to the championship game even more remarkable.
Shocker fans love it. They were having to kind of sit back and say, look out, as the ball game had been cut to 11-9. But Mears, with a solo shot, a 2-out home run with the left field fence, has propelled that lead back to 3. Over at first base. You know, Dreifert is another one as far as the lower third of the order. He's got 3 base hits and has been on base 4 times.
Oh, that whole lineup has come alive. By the time you total up the team averages tonight, they're going into that game with Texas if they hang on here with just about even batting averages.
1-2 the count, bottom of the 8th inning. If you just joined us, it is Wichita State leading over Florida State 12-9. In the air to right field. Harrison has it for the 3rd out. The Shockers come up with 1 run on 1 hit. And they are 3 outs away. Gilliland, Vargas, and Cribb due up for the Seminoles. And one more look at that shot by Pat Mears a moment ago, which put his club back on top by 3.
Last week, us Fritos rustlers came upon a whole new breed. Ranch Fritos. They looked real wild, but they was actually sort of mild. Shoot, one even let Luke pet it. These wild and mild ranch Fritos have a creamy ranch flavor. No Fritos rustler can resist. But keep that under your hat, partner. New wild and mild ranch flavor Fritos corn chips. Rustle up some.
Don't win nothing for practice. Don't win nothing if you don't.
All right, let's have it.
After a long day of hard knocks.
That's right.
For who? Head for the beer that goes down smooth as a mountain stream. Boy.
Here, this one don't buck so hard.
Head for the mountains of Bush beer.
Shockers lead by 3. That's how many outs they are down to. And the Seminoles...
Well, you know, Ron, that man said before the game, yeah, I want to win this thing, but that loss last year kind of mellowed his attitude, and he didn't speak quite as strongly as I think what's really inside of him. He really wants to see the Shockers win this thing for what these kids have gone through. And that guy, on the other hand, wants this more than anything he's ever wanted in college baseball. He's had a lot of success, 500 wins in 10 years.
Gilliland looks at a strike. from Jim Newland to start the top of the 9th inning. Florida State down 1-0. Came up with 4 in the second. Then were silenced until the 8th. And they scored 5 there. Wichita State 1 in the first, 3 in the 4th, 2 in the 6th, 5 in the 7th, and 1 in the 8th inning. 12-9. That's how we stand right now. Gilliland tries to lay down the bunt. He's behind in the count, 1-2. Texas Longhorns, with an off night after beating LSU last evening and going through their bracket undefeated, are waiting on the winner of this one for the championship tomorrow afternoon. Eastern time, and that game can be seen on CBS.
You hear him in that Florida State dugout hollering at Jim Newland, squeeze it. That's what a pitcher fights against in situations like this, that tight wrist.
Swung on and missed, held on by Wedge. There's one gone in the ninth.
Yeah, you're out there in those pressure situations and you tend to grip that ball a little bit tight. Takes all the movement off it. And that's why you'll hear the opposing dugouts holler out there, squeeze it. Hey, this guy's got plenty of juice on it, though.
Rob Vargas, the fine third baseman for Florida State, has reached by a walk tonight. Breaking pitch for a strike by Newland.
Got a feeling you're going to see a little emotion come out of that dugout by maybe even the coaches that we've never seen from Wichita State.
Breaking pitch again for a call strike.
You know, everyone wonders what makes Jim Newland so tough. Left-hand hitter, just a little breaking ball, but see how it freezes the hitter? It looks like it's going to be outside.
The Shockers are 1 out away. Second strikeout for Newland. 6 for the Wichita State staff. And Buddy Cribb is due.
And just another reminder, we've said Wichita State has never played for a national championship in any sport. And they're 1 out from doing it. Those guys have been in 2 of them. They lost in 1970. They lost in '86.
Wichita State on top by 3. On the ground to the right side, P.J. Forbes over to first, and the Shockers will get that opportunity at a national title. Gene Stevenson's Wichita State club winning over Florida State, coming from behind 12-9. Next up for the Shockers, as you see the handshake between Mike Martin of Florida State and Gene Stevenson. The Texas Longhorns are up next for the Shockers. The Fritos players of the game, Mark Ronan for Florida State, and Mike Whitworth of Wichita State, who had the 3-run homer and ignited his teammates back in the 4th inning. He tied the game at 4, and then it was the Shockers, not to be denied, to come from behind and win it. So we're going to take a break as the traditional handshake goes on down to the field. Wichita State will face off with Texas tomorrow. For Jim Cotton and our ESPN crew, I'm Ron Franklin saying good night from Omaha, Nebraska.
United Airlines, from the ground up, rededicate.